Hello? He's dead!
I'm not hungry.
Yes, you is.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you is.
No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. You know, our Mexicans, it did something.
I don't look Mexican.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
You want to stay in here?
Yeah?
Okay. You don't want nothing?
No.
Say yeah.
I don't want nothing.
No, say yes.
I don't want nothing.
No, say yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay, good.
Where are we going?
See Mexican.
He said there ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. I got
Hey y'all, I'm a politician. Here's a shot of me looking relatable.
I'm a normal human man. I work in my yard.
I understand and care about people, which is why I'm trying to ruin my opponent's reputation.
I am a good Christian man. I can't wait to try to unearth skeletons from my opponent's closet to ruin him.
Here is a picture of me with a minority vote, as to not seem racist.
Here's a picture of me with handy-capable people. I'm the one that's standing up.
If I wasn't a man's man, then why do I toss the pigskin with my adopted son? Toss it here, Bach Fang. Ooh.
If I say the words church or family, you'll ignore my past indecencies.
I'm saying this because my campaign manager said I should.
You might own a truck just like this one. That's why I'm sitting on the trunk.
I'm holding a log. What else can I do to relate to y'all? It was heavy.
I'm mentioning firearms to appease my base.
Some of my policies are in question, which is why I'm gonna deflect by mentioning the troops. We support the troops. USA.
I'm a normal human person, just like you.
I'm a normal person with normal desires.
A vote for me is a vote for the status quo. Sure, I'd like to win, but if I don't, I'm still wildly rich.
Anyone is welcome on Palm Beach Island.
No,
it's an open island.
I'm not talking about Palm Beach Island. I'm talking about that island you owned with that square house, the blue and the white one.
I owned that island.
You wish you owned that island.
I wish I owned that house. If I owned that island, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Europe for the summer in Saint Tropez with some really beautiful women and just living life to the
beautiful
fullest.
Women?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. They were pretty young.
A company called Leonardo, an Italian defense giant worth over $17 billion, has built a sensor that clips directly on to flock cameras and cameras like them all across the country. It's called an ELSAG, an LSAG signal trace, and it does not read your plate. It reads your devices. As you drive past, it grabs the Bluetooth signal from your iPhone, the Wi-Fi signal from your laptop in the back seat, the RFID from your key card, the identifier from your AirTag, the signal from your tire pressure sensors, your car's infotainment system, even your pet's microchip. It combines every one.
Hey guys, it's Palm Beach Pete, and when I went on state, because I usually went on state, I'm gonna buy this beautiful townhouse in New York City. Probably the best townhouse in New York City.
This guy got so sick of missing his turn on the highway that he decided to fix the road sign himself. His fake sign turned out so good that the city actually decided to use it. LA artist Richard Ankrum kept getting confused at a tricky interchange because there was no sign for the highway he needed. Instead of writing boring complaints to officials, he decided to handle it himself. He looked up the exact government standards, matched the exact font and color, and measured the proportions of real signs with a tape measure. He even got the reflectors by telling the supplier he was shooting a film. When the sign was ready, Richard put on a construction helmet, an orange vest, grabbed a ladder, and in broad daylight, right out in the open, started screwing it in. A Caltrans crew was standing right there, police drove by, and hundreds of drivers passed. None of them suspected a thing. The fake sign went unnoticed for a full 9 months, until Richard himself admitted to it and leaked a video of his stunt online. And when the California Department of Transportation saw the fake sign, they decided to leave it up, since it turned out to be better quality than the original. They even offered Richard a job, and his sign stayed up for another 8 long years.
I'm also excited to announce that we are working with another industry leader, Ubiquia, to turn streetlights into smart ALPR and live streaming cameras. Without having to add a single pole in the ground, this partnership accelerates deployments and turns existing infrastructure into intelligent, interconnected tools for public safety. Now, streetlights can do more than light the street. They can protect it. We call this Axon Light Post. And to share more about this partnership, please welcome the CEO of Ubiquia, Ian Aaron.
Thanks, Rick. So at Ubiquia, our mission is simple: to make the world smarter, safer, and more connected. We actually do that by leveraging the existing infrastructure that's already in the ground. That's 60 million streetlights in the US and actually 450 million worldwide. And we make them intelligent. We built a reputation with more than 900 cities and utilities for turning ordinary streetlights into extraordinary tools for public safety. Our UB Hub platform is easy to install, simple to relocate, and built to scale, allowing police departments to deploy and expand their video and LPR capabilities quickly. And today, we're excited to announce our collaboration with Axon Light Post, creating together a powerful streetlight-based platform for video surveillance and LPR, all integrating seamlessly with Axon Fusus. We believe this will be a game changer, giving law enforcement more eyes and real-time intelligence where they need it and when they need it. Here's a brief video to show you how we do it. So now, with the help of my teammate, Todd, let's install Axon Light Post in real time. So Todd's plugging this into the photocell socket, which has been common for 60 years on 450 million streetlights. This is how you install, power, connect LPR or any network camera with edge processing, 10 to 40 hours of video storage, and all integrated with Axon Fusus. Great work, Todd.
My dearest love, tonight I fulfilled my promise, and Kirk has fallen by my hand. My vehicle is abandoned, and I cycled through my outfits so no description may betray me. My grandfather's rifle, gifted to me by my MAGA Republican father, now lies in the woods, wrapped tenderly in a black towel whose frayed edges reminded me of your touch. A squad car will soon retrieve it, but all I want retrieved is my heart, safe in your arms. Even now, with blood on my hands, I find myself craving Dairy Queen as if its sweetness could soothe the fire of my soul until I see you again.
I hate a that complains about their job around me. Try blue collar. Try 8-hour shifts scooping 55 different flavors of ice cream every day until your arms fall off. You don't know real work until you've been scooping ice cream all day, tears running down your face into the ice cream, and you go like this, have a good weekend.
Yeah, I do remember that one summer that I was roofing in the 100-degree weather in the middle of July with 100% humidity, and I thought to myself, at least I am not scooping ice cream.
Welcome to the Independent Review, a weekly podcast where we bring you the latest from the world of independent journalism.
Hello?
He's dead!
I'm not hungry.
Yes, you is.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you is.
No, I'm not.
You know, Mexicans, it did something.
I don't want Mexican.
Yes, you do. You want to stay in here?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want nothing?
No.
Say yeah.
I don't want nothing.
No, say yes.
I don't want nothing.
No, say yes.
Okay, yes.
Okay, good.
Where are we going?
See Mexican.
He said there ain't no rest for the wicked. Money don't grow on trees. I got
Hey y'all, I'm a politician. Here's a shot of me looking relatable.
I'm a normal human man. I work in my yard.
I understand and care about people, which is why I'm trying to ruin my opponent's reputation.
I am a good Christian man. I can't wait to try to unearth skeletons from my opponent's closet to ruin him.
Here is a picture of me with a minority vote, as to not seem racist.
Here's a picture of me with handy capable people. I'm the one that's standing up.
If I wasn't a man's man, then why do I toss the pigskin with my adopted son? Toss it here, Bach Fang. Ooh.
If I say the words church or family, you'll ignore my past indecencies.
I'm saying this because my campaign manager said I should.
You might own a truck just like this one. That's why I'm sitting on the trunk.
I'm holding a log. What else can I do to relate to y'all? It was heavy.
I'm mentioning firearms to appease my base.
Some of my policies are in question, which is why I'm gonna deflect by mentioning the troops. We support the troops. USA.
I'm a normal human person. just like you.
I'm a normal person with normal desires.
A vote for me is a vote for the status quo. Sure, I'd like to win, but if I don't, I'm still wildly rich.
Anyone is welcome on Palm Beach Island.
No,
it's an open island.
I'm not talking about Palm Beach Island. I'm talking about that island you owned with that square house, the blue and the white one.
I owned that island.
You wish you owned that island.
I wish I owned that house. If I owned that island, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Europe for the summer in Saint Tropez with some really beautiful women and just living life to the fullest.
Women?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. They were pretty young.
A company called Leonardo, an Italian defense giant worth over $17 billion, has built a sensor that clips directly on to flock cameras and cameras like them all across the country. It's called an ELSAG, an LSAG signal trace, and it does not read your plate. It reads your devices. As you drive past, it grabs the Bluetooth signal from your iPhone, the Wi-Fi signal from your laptop in the back seat, the RFID from your key card, the identifier from your AirTag, the signal from your tire pressure sensors, your car's infotainment system, even your pet's microchip. It combines every one.
Hey guys, it's Palm Beach Pete, and when I went on state, because I usually went on state, I'm going to buy this beautiful townhouse in New York City. Probably the best townhouse in New York City.
This guy got so sick of missing his turn on the highway that he decided to fix the road sign himself. His fake sign turned out so good that the city actually decided to use it. LA artist Richard Ancrum kept getting confused at a tricky interchange because there was no sign for the highway he needed. Instead of writing boring complaints to officials, he decided to handle it himself. He looked up the exact government standards, matched the exact font and color, and measured the proportions of real signs with a tape measure. He even got the reflectors by telling the supplier he was shooting a film. When the sign was ready, Richard put on a construction helmet, an orange vest, grabbed a ladder, and in broad daylight, right out in the open, started screwing it in. A Caltrans crew was standing right there, police drove by, and hundreds of drivers passed. None of them suspected a thing. The fake sign went unnoticed for a full 9 months, until Richard himself admitted to it and leaked a video of his stunt online. And when the California Department of Transportation saw the fake sign, they decided to leave it up, since it turned out to be better quality than the original. They even offered Richard a job, and his sign stayed up for another 8 long years.
I'm also excited to announce that we are working with another industry leader, Ubiquia, to turn streetlights into smart ALPR and live streaming cameras. Without having to add a single pole in the ground, this partnership accelerates deployments and turns existing infrastructure into intelligent, interconnected tools for public safety. Now, streetlights can do more than light the street. They can protect it. We call this Axon Light Post. And to share more about this partnership, please welcome the CEO of Ubiquia, Ian Aaron.
Thanks, Rick. So at Ubiquia, our mission is simple: to make the world smarter, safer, and more connected. We actually do that by leveraging the existing infrastructure that's already in the ground. That's 60 million streetlights in the US and actually 450 million worldwide. And we make them intelligent. We built a reputation with more than 900 cities and utilities for turning ordinary streetlights into extraordinary tools for public safety. Our UB Hub platform is easy to install, simple to relocate, and built to scale, allowing police departments to deploy and expand their video and LPR capabilities quickly. And today, we're excited to announce our collaboration with Axon Lightpost, creating together a powerful streetlight-based platform for video surveillance and LPR, all integrating seamlessly with Axon Fusus. We believe this will be a game changer, giving law enforcement more eyes and real-time intelligence where they need it and when they need it. Here's a brief video to show you how we do it. So now, with the help of my teammate, Todd, let's install Axon Lightpost in real time. So Todd's plugging this into the photocell socket, which has been common for 60 years on 450 million streetlights. This is how you install, power, connect LPR or any network camera with edge processing, 10 to 40 hours of video storage, and all integrated with Axon Fusus. Great work, Todd.
My dearest love, tonight I fulfilled my promise, and Kirk has fallen by my hand. My vehicle is abandoned, and I cycled through my outfits so no description may betray me. My grandfather's rifle, gifted to me by my MAGA Republican father, now lies in the woods, wrapped tenderly in a black towel whose frayed edges reminded me of your touch. A squad car will soon retrieve it, but all I want retrieved is my heart, safe in your arms. Even now, with blood on my hands, I find myself craving Dairy Queen as if its sweetness could soothe the fire of my soul until I see you again.
I hate a that complains about their job around me. Try blue collar. Try 8-hour shifts scooping 55 different flavors of ice cream every day until your arms fall off. You don't know real work until you've been scooping ice cream all day, tears running down your face into the ice cream, and you go like this, have a good weekend.
Yeah, I do remember that one summer that I was roofing in the 100-degree weather in the middle of July with 100% humidity, and I thought to myself, at least I am not scooping ice cream.
Welcome to the Independent Review, a weekly podcast where we bring you the latest from the world of independent journalism.
Here she comes.
The following is a triple threat match. Making her way to the ring from Jerusalem, Israel, the Demon, Larry Luger.
You know, it takes a lot of work to be considered the most egotistical talent in WWE. What are you talking about, Cole? All I see here is a competitor with a healthy amount of self-confidence.
That's because your ego is almost as big as theirs, Corey. And her opponents, first from Chile, Whitney, Webb.
You know, this person takes some pride in their work, but who can blame them? Few are as gifted in the ring as this performer. Wow, you are laying it on thick, Saxton. Don't worry, I'm sure they'll hear you when they watch this match 10 times before bed tonight. A woman meant for the highlight reel. She plans on even more excitement tonight. Here comes a true superstar.
And representing the Assassins from Jerusalem, Israel,
If she doesn't take a look at the talent in competition here. You can see exactly why the WWE Universe is so amped up for this one.
The curl of her lips, the ice in her stare.
She loves the reaction she
all
receives from the WWE Universe,
children
and I think she's going to take that energy
beware.
into the
She's
match,
like
too.
a spider waiting for the kill.
Triple threat rules, no disqualifications, no countouts. The only way to win is to pin or submit one of the other two competitors in this match. Oof. Poorly timed offense there. To the knees. You're going to need your back adjusted after that one. Put in the corner now. Getting carried to a vulnerable position here. Oh, right to the throat. Ooh, great agility on display.
Acrobatics like that take a tremendous amount of cardio and strength.
Ooh, right to the throat. Calf kick right on point. Oh, shoulder, elbow, all effective with that. Escapes out of that attack. And the manager is searching under the ring. He could only be looking for something nefarious down there. Byron, what's the best game plan going to... Oh, look out! Whoa, what a landing! That was just incredible hang time.
Was willing to take the high risk to the outside, and it paid off big time.
Oh, yeah, she is feeling it. Her energy is contagious. And she's out of the ring. Remember, no countouts in this one.
Oh my gosh, what impact!
German suplex.
Calf kick right on point. There's a wheelbarrow into the DDT.
Gosh.
Oh, stomping away.
And now heading back inside the ring.
Proving that she is a superstar who knows how to carry herself.
And talk about giving a DDT with authority. And she's beginning to look a little weary. She's headed out of the ring.
Looking for a little more breathing room.
Ouch.
Wow, breathtaking standing shooting star. And just like that, we've kicked the tempo up a notch. Her legs are wobbling, but that's the least of her problems.
Springboard into a Hurricane Rana. That's amazing.
Took a massive risk, but it might have paid off. She's amped and ready to show she's not one to be messed with.
Sliding in under the rope. She's back in the ring.
Snake eyes.
And she's unable to defend herself, unable to stop this assault in any way.
Yeah, she's real. Shoulders down. This could be it. Gets the win. What a triple threat.
Here is your winner, Whitney.
As exciting a triple threat match as we've had here in WWE in recent memory.
To win a triple threat match, you need incredible skill, instincts, or luck. And here he comes.
Opponent is scheduled for one fall, making his way to the ring, representing the Anarchist from Fort Wayne, Indiana, weighing in at 225 pounds. The Anarchist, Gage!
Looking out at the countless members of the WWE Universe in attendance, they are all here because of, as far as title defenses go, this is about as big as it gets. He needs to be on his game tonight. Things are about to get good.
Time to play the game! It's all about the game, and how you play it. All about control, and if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about pay. Who's gonna make it? I am the game, you don't wanna play me. I am control, no way you can shake me. I am heavy debt, no way you can pay me. I am the pain, and I know you can't take me. Look over your shoulder, ready to run like a Cleveland bitch from a smoking gun. I am the game, and I make the rules. So move on out, you can die like a fool. Trying to figure out what my move's gonna be. Come on over, sucker, why don't you ask me? Don't you forget there's a price you can pay. 'Cause I am the game and I want to play. Time to play the game. And how you play it, it's all about control. And if you can take it, it's all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about the pain. Who's gonna make it? I am the game. You don't wanna play me. I am control. There's no way you can shake me. I am your
The WWE Universe just exploded! Guys, I cannot overstate the importance of this match here tonight. Of course not, Michael. Anytime the tag titles are on the line, the match takes on a whole new level of importance.
Hi, we're your weather girl. And have we got news for you? You better listen. Get ready, all your lonely girls, and leave those umbrellas at home. All right. It's rising.
This guy has a lot of fight in him, and competing for the title will make him even tougher.
All right, I love this guy. It's a big-time opportunity, Byron, as the title will be on the line here. You're right, Michael, and judging from the response on social media heading into this match, we're likely to see a new champ crowned here tonight.
If you ever catch me, so it's told, I'll give you my big pot of gold. I'm a little
The challenger with a confident look on his face, more than ready for this title opportunity.
Boots and my big green hat at the end of the rainbow, so it's told, you will find my pot of gold.
The following contest is a tag team match set for one fall and is for the World Tag Team Championship. Introducing the challengers at a combined weight of 512 pounds, the Redneck and Conor McGregor. And their opponents at a combined weight of 458 pounds, the Anarchist Steve and the Jester Kurt.
The goal is obtaining those tag team championships. Being on the same page will be vital in this one.
Tag team match underway. Bragging rights in the division are on the line.
Highly competitive tag team division in WWE. Winning this match will go a long way in separating yourselves from the pack. Tag is good. There's a tag. What's going to happen here? We're about to find out. Double shoulder tackle.
The communication between these two is evident by that move.
Clutching the wrist. Look at this.
How humiliating. Just kicks to the face. And the champ now having to deal with relentless strikes from a motivated challenger.
Oh, ouch. And into the turnbuckle he goes. That's a tag.
And a hammer fist right across the collarbone. Working in perfect cohesion, the champions have a strategy in mind.
Oh, what's this gonna be?
Wheelbarrow, flapjack.
Face first.
Stopping the arm. From the middle rope. Oh, what a splash. The challenger unable to stay out of harm's way.
He's got to be eyeing his corner, hoping he can regroup on the apron.
Successive attacks have him staggering.
This is the type of scenario where he needs to get inventive. Nice drop kick.
Kick! Oh. Turning the tables.
Check out this power in the corner. Driven down Snake Eyes.
Looking to seal the deal, guys.
Kick out at one.
Staying in this one.
Indy counters.
Whoa, springboard attack.
Oh. Mounted palm strikes. And with an onslaught of strikes like that, it's clear they have nothing but punishment on their mind. Caught him with a big boot.
On the mark. Look at this, just
What a barrage of stops. Unrelenting attack from the challenger there. You can see their desire for the gold.
Uh-oh, has to find a way out of this. Lands face first. Ooh, just ate that kick to the face.
Body slam slipped out. Inverted DDT.
wow, that is some impressive strength. Dominator.
Tag made. Oh, swanton. Straight into the pin. 2 count. And the title still up for grabs. Wow.
Standing shooting star press. It's incredible the inventiveness we are seeing on display here.
Setting course to the top turnbuckle.
Having trouble making it to a vertical base, and it looks like it.
Off the top.
Diving arm drag.
I like yours better, Cole.
Takes another trip to the skies, and it pays off once again.
Kick to the gut creates separation. Body buster! The challenger is going for it. Barely kicks out.
He thought he had it.
Big back body drop. What power. What dominance. He tags out. Oh, look at it. We have a pin for the title. The champ kicks out with authority.
Giving a massive effort to overcome the pin attempt.
Spin kick. Challenger's in a bad way.
This has been an arduous tag match, but you could be in much worse shape. And just when he needed it most, he got the tag.
Boom, what a kick. Drop kick.
Beautiful.
Dropping the knee for more punishment.
Drop kick down low. An arm breaker. And there's the tag. Terrible axe handle. Oh, no. Look what we have. Thanks for coming. The end of days.
That is how a true champion defends their title.
Bodies must be writhing in pain right now. The breaking point must be on the horizon.
But yet they continue forward, showing no desire to quit.
He gets the kick out after the one.
The tag team champions retain.
Here are your winners, and still World Tag Team Champions, the Anarchists, Steve and the Jester.
Making their case for one of the best teams around with that win.
Tag team excellence in its purest form. You simply love to see it. And I hope we see these guys tagging again real soon.
Welcome to the Independent Review, live on a Wake Up on Odyssey, Rumble, Substack, and the Indie News Network on Twitter. Let's jump to our first clip from Dave DeCamp from antiwarnews.com.
Of the U.S. Just after 9:30 as I'm starting here. And the first story at the top of antiwar.com, the House passes the 2027 NDAA with Israeli integration. So the House on Wednesday passed its version of the massive $1.1 trillion 2027 National Defense Authorization Act, or NDAA, which includes Section 219, formerly Section 224, a provision to further integrate the U.S. and Israeli militaries, a scheme that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has described as his own plan. And so, if this sounds familiar, it's because I covered yesterday that the House voted to approve a rule to bring this bill to the floor for a debate and a vote. So here's the vote. And it passed largely along party lines in a 216 to 212 vote. 7 Republicans voted against it, and 2 did not vote, meaning that the Democrats could have blocked it if they wanted to. But of course, there were enough to get it passed. 6 Democrats voted yes on this just huge military spending bill. And, even just forget about the Israeli integration, just the fact that they're voting to fund this Pentagon as this completely illegal war is raging between the U.S. and Iran. American troops are being killed. And, they're just handing this huge check to Pete Hegseth and to President Trump. So I put the names here of the Democrats who voted for the bill. They include Representative Henry Cuellar of Texas, Donald Davis of North Carolina, Gerald Golden of Maine, Vicente Gonzalez of Texas, Adam Gray of California, and Marie Gluesenkamp Perez of Washington State. And the Republicans who voted against the legislation, it includes Thomas Massie. And now I saw Marjorie Taylor Greene, the former House representative, pointed out on X that Massie was the only Republican to vote against the rule to bring this to the floor. So if these Republicans really wanted to block this, they would have voted against that rule, but they didn't. And but the other 6 who voted against the NDAA include Chip Roy of Texas, Anna Paulina Luna of Florida, Harriet M. Hagman of Wyoming, Elijah Crane of Arizona, and Tim Burchett of Tennessee, and Josh Brescian of Oklahoma. And, in their explanation, I haven't seen any of these other members of Congress, say that they voted against this because of the Israeli integration. Massie is the only Republican who's really opposed to this, who's really outspokenly against fusing our military further with the IDF as they're committing all sorts of atrocities and genocide in Gaza and the list of things that they're doing. So, and the way that this typically works, the House passes its version of the NDAA, the Senate passes its version, and then they go to what's called conference, where they negotiate the final version. And a lot of times in that conference, amendments are stripped, some things are added, and so there is a chance of it getting removed there. But the fact that there is a version of this also in the Senate, the Senate NDAA, so that suggests that it's probably not going to get pulled out. But this is certainly something, there's been a lot of attention on this, and it's something to, call your congressman, representative, senator, and tell them to work to get this out. Because, the whole idea here, this is the Israel lobbies and Netanyahu's response to this shift in public opinion in the U.S. So many more Americans now have woken up to, what the problem with this special relationship between the U.S. and Israel, and they don't want to send aid. And so the idea, according to Netanyahu's plan, they're going to reduce the military aid that the U.S. gives Israel, but increase this type of cooperation, this integration, and then the actual, Israel will still certainly get, aid in some form from the U.S., but it'll essentially be secret, out of the public view, and it will also make the relationship much harder to unravel. So it's a very problematic for a lot of reasons. But I think the fact that Netanyahu is going around and saying that this is his plan is enough to scare people and make them oppose this. So hopefully there's some kind of miracle in the conference where this gets pulled out.
Next, we take a look at this clip from the Indie News Network.
Caitlin Johnstone. Here we go. Caitlin Johnstone. Indie Media Award honoree. First ballot. I mean, she's amazing. Go to indiemediaawards.substack.com for the best of the best of the best. And Caitlin is among them. So Caitlin published a couple of articles this week that resonated heavily with me. She very often does. These two stood out. And of course, she publishes her articles, but her husband, Tim Foley, who's an American, does the audio recordings of her articles. So he'll do a read like I do, only he's deadpan and he's brilliant. I love him. So we're going to listen to a couple of articles that she wrote this week that he narrates, and both of them resonate wonderfully with me. And we're going to start with this one on Bernie Sanders. Now, Bernie, look, I've known for a long time, and for 6 years I've been done with Bernie. And it's amazing to me that there are so many people that still are bought into the Bernie Sanders narrative, but it's nice to kind of remind those people once in a while of just where we've been and why we feel the way we do. So Caitlin wrote this short article called "It's Been 10 Years. It's Time to Admit Bernie Sanders Was Wrong." And that kind of hurts my heart in a way, because I was a big believer in his movement as well. It got me kind of off the couch and out of shit livery. It was a gateway drug in a way. But I learned quickly that he wasn't really out for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the YouTube video for it now. Here we go.
It's been 10 years. It's time to admit Bernie Sanders was wrong. Everyone's talking about how progressive Democrat Graham Plattner has been forced to drop out of his Senate race following allegations of sexual assault. Personally, I never paid attention to Plattner's campaign because I long ago stopped taking Democrats seriously. The first clue that Plattner was a shitty person wasn't his military service or his Blackwater stint or his tattoo or the sexual assault stuff. It was that he ran for high office in the U.S. government under one of America's two mainstream parties. That's damning in and of itself. I said this on Twitter today, and some DSA guy told me the best way to make changes in U.S. politics is to work within the Democratic Party to elect left-wing candidates and advance progressive agendas. I said, you guys have been trying that for 10 years with nothing to show for it. I mean, how much longer is it going to take before people admit that the change the party from within strategy isn't working? Do you want another 20 years? Another 50? Do you need to spend the next century watching a handful of vaguely progressive imperialists getting elected to Congress and then getting primaried out by opponents with mountains of special interest funding before you admit that you're not making any meaningful gains? Our planet could be lifeless before then. The Bernie Sanders quote-unquote revolution was 10 years ago. Large factions of the American left took up his call to take over the Democratic Party using primary elections throughout the nation, and ever since then it's been a 2 steps forward, 2 steps back addition of zeros. The people never got President Bernie, and the few progressive gains made on Capitol Hill were either kicked out like Cori Bush and Jamal Bowman, or went full pro-establishment like John Fetterman. The few who stuck around have turned out to be perpetually disappointing empire managers like AOC, who know how to straddle the line between left-wing lip service and status quo swamp monster. It's time to admit that the commies were right, kids. The factions on the so-called far left who've been rejecting electoral politics and calling for real revolution against a system designed to suppress leftward movement have been completely vindicated over the last decade.
Oh, I love that. Just inject that shit into my veins right there. Okay, I hate to stop her, but yes, we have been vindicated. Thank you. And by the way, Ghost Star, you would want to listen to her voice. She's adorable, and she's got a cute Aussie accent, and they do a podcast together. But here, let me let her finish.
You cannot change the system using a political party that's designed to prevent change.
Yes.
The Atlantic has an article out by David Brooks titled, "Democrats Became Great by Fighting the Left." And in a sense, this claim is absolutely correct. It's not correct in the sense that David Brooks suggests, but it is correct that the reason the Democratic Party has been allowed to remain so dominant is because it is such an effective tool for thwarting all leftward political movement in the United States. In the article, Brooks, who last year published an article titled "The Epstein Story? Count Me Out," shortly before showing up in the Epstein files, begins by rehashing the same tired old Hillary 2016 talking points, arguing that the loony left is full of communists who must be forcefully opposed by the sensible center. What's more interesting is the brief history lesson that comes later, in which Brooks notes that after World War II, the Democratic Party leadership took action deliberately, quote, in order to block the leftward advance, end quote, towards socialism within its ranks. That's all the Democratic Party has ever existed to do. If it wasn't such a successful tool for suppressing leftward advancement, the party would not be permitted to exist as a mainstream political force by the capitalist oligarchs who run the country. It is the Democratic Party's job to prevent peace, equality, justice, and socialism. That is the only reason it is permitted to exist in the hub of the capitalist empire, and that is the only reason why 10 years of effort to change the party from within has produced no meaningful results.
It doesn't want to be changed.
The experiment has been run, and the results are in. You can't conduct a socialist revolution using a party whose primary function is to suppress socialist revolution. This has been conclusively established. It's time to find another way.
None of the above. None of the above. That's all I can think. It's like I was beaming at the end of this video. I love those two. And by the way, you can read this with all receipts and links to other stuff. And, you know, here's Dr. Fishbones with reminding people that Plattner, who I don't even want to talk about, but look at that. Look at how the what do you call it? The pseudo left, the imperialist left, the pro Ukraine left. Okay, they all got behind this guy and they're doing mental gymnastics because there are a couple of things at play. Now, there definitely was a pro-Israel movement to try to stop this guy because he was speaking out against Israel. But at the same time, he was a complete train wreck and he undid himself and then resigned, but a Republican would have totally doubled down versus this guy who walked away before he even had a chance to do anything. All right, here's the Atlantic tweet from David Brooks that she talked about. All right, Democrats became great by fighting the left. What a douchebag. David Brooks is the worst. Remember, he created Correct the Record. And I believe he runs Media Matters USA, MMUSA, which it's like a police watchdog of independent media and corporate media. support Caitlin. I love her to death. Caitlin Johns, JONST.ONE. It's all her name. Or you can go just look her up, Caitlin Johnstone on Substack. But I have another one of hers because when we lost Miss Lindsay this week, she's written a ton about Lindsey Graham, and it was nice to be able to celebrate for a few minutes and to smile and to speak badly about the dead. So let's do so, and let's let Tim do so in the same way.
Well, at least Lindsey Graham is dead. The only positive thing about the Iran war heating up again is that Lindsey Graham won't be around to enjoy it. The bloodthirsty South Carolina senator breathed his last on Saturday, succumbing to what his office describes as a brief and sudden illness after a political career dedicated to promoting wars, airstrikes, and proxy conflicts at every possible opportunity. People have long poked fun at the hypocrisy of Lindsey Graham living as an obvious closeted gay man in a political party with a virulently anti-LGBTQ platform. I personally have always found Graham's sexual attraction to men a lot less interesting than his sexual attraction to acts of mass military slaughter. Ever since the death of Graham's dear friend John McCain, nobody on Capitol Hill has been able to match his gleeful enthusiasm for the shredding of human bodies using high-priced war machinery. Wherever there was any debate about dropping bombs, launching missiles, toppling foreign governments, arming proxy forces, or imposing starvation sanctions, you could always count on Lindsey Graham to be the first and loudest voice arguing in favor of more death and destruction. Graham has personally taken credit for persuading President Trump to begin the war with Iran. In the months leading up to his unexpected demise, the senator had advocated for direct U.S. military interventionism in Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, Yemen, Nigeria, Lebanon, and Palestine, and had just returned from a trip to Kyiv promoting the U.S. proxy war against Russia. He was literally pushing for more war and military expansionism until the very end of his life. All the world's worst people are publicly expressing their grief about the loss of their beloved war slut, from Trump to Benjamin Netanyahu to Itamar Ben-Gvir to Tom Cotton to Mike Huckabee. Meanwhile, everyone who's not a warmongering psychopath is having a splendid day. Of course, we're seeing imperial narrative managers like Piers Morgan wagging their fingers and chiding their audiences not to speak ill of the dead, but the hell with them. We're not doing that. Politeness is not more important than Lindsey Graham's victims. The liberal desire for propriety and nice feelings does not outweigh the importance of naming and shaming Graham's frenetic scramble to murder as many human beings as he possibly could throughout his evil, miserable life. Lindsey Graham is dead, and it is good that he is dead. May his omnicidal ideology soon join him in the arms of the cold, cold ground. May the insane, insatiable God he worshipped cease to gain recognition on this planet. Lindsey Graham is dead. At least that's one good thing. No matter what else happens today, they can't take that away from us.
I love that. Just, Caitlin and Tim are just magical. Indie Media Award honoree, Caitlin Johnstone, and her husband, Tim Foley. And again, you've got links to sources here. I'll put the links to these in the description afterwards. I mean, yes, cold-blooded murderer. Yes, agreed. I've got more about Miss Lindsay. So that's kind of the opener to the narrative and the propaganda that's already broken out surrounding his death. I saw our friend Descent already in chat saying that he died from an aortic dissection, which is one of the most painful ways you can die. Yes, but there are also a lot of rumors about other ways that he may have also died or that may have contributed to that aortic dissection. Some people are, again, blaming the Russians. I think that's ridiculous. Some people are claiming that the Russians hit that secret drone depot, production facility in Kiev that he was at on the 11th, the day before he died, and that there was no way timeline-wise that he could have made it back through Poland, back to D.C. in time to actually be home. There are a lot of circumstances. Although I've also heard Andrew Corbico completely debunk that and say, no, that's completely ridiculous. Also, it's ridiculous and doing Zelensky and Ukraine's job to say that Putin did this, because there's very little chance that Putin did this or that he was poisoned like they used to do in the UK. Look, dude, he's gone. And, Caitlin, like I said, Caitlin and Tim do a podcast. Now, again, if I go to her thing right here, podcast, Emotional Intelligence and Big Feelings. This is about a 45-minute long they riff. And I love these podcasts that they do because it's literally you get their personality coming out more, and it's not scripted, and they're not reading a specifically written set of words. She's painting while she's doing it, and she actually painted this Lindsey Graham oil. I guess this is an oil or an acrylic, actually. And while she's painting, they're having this conversation and recording the audio, and that's what this podcast is. And she talks about, at the beginning, they're like, it's kind of making everything that we ever said about him irrelevant at this point. He's gone. Fuck him. He's never going to be relevant ever again. Hallelujah. The voice really does set the message off. I mean, the deadpan against that, against the hysteria and the craziness of exactly what's being said it's perfect. I love the two of them together as a combination. So again, support Caitlin Johnstone and her husband, Tim. They are completely independent and user-funded. But like I said, we got more on Lindsey. So, one thing, hey, y'all, it's hot as fuck down here. Because we know that he certainly didn't go up anywhere. So we've got that. I had a little bit of fun. Miss Lindsey also leaves behind a 7-figure mansion, his Grindr account, and a room full of APAC and defense contractor lobbyists and handlers. Reunited, and it feels so good. That was right after he fell and he bumped his eye. I remember that one. No, the world will not miss either of those two. I'm telling you right now, except for defense contractors in Ukraine. So Jesse Jett, the eloquent, and I host American Tradition with Jesse Jett on INN. We've been doing that for 4 years. We'll be doing an episode on Thursday night, so join us. It's going to be Trump era hashtags. And he's going to flip some of the songs that had the word Biden in it, or Joe, or Kamala, and he'll take it now and do either Donald, Trump, or J.D. Vance. Kamala, J.D. Vance. It'll flow the same way. So it'll be interesting when he juxtaposes the names, just how similar the context is and the narratives are, because nothing fundamentally changed. So what Jesse said after hearing of the demise of the senator from South Carolina very suddenly, while my frosted side is pleased to know that Lindsey Graham now inhabits the very hell that he worked so diligently to remodel the earth in the image of, my whole wheat side knows that he'll be replaced by a younger, more media-savvy model of the same fascist pig in perpetuity. Agreed. Eloquent, poetic. Join us on Thursday night, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific for that. And finally, come on, Mitch McConnell. Oh, what? Lindsey Graham? Hell yeah. Okay, we're going to get a 2 for this week? Maybe. Just maybe. But you're going to have to wait a minute for that. This guy has wrought such heartache and misery on so many for so long. It's okay to revel in that for a minute. And if you got feelings about that, sorry, you're a bad person. If you like that guy and you supported that guy, you're a bad person. Straight up. Sorry. I'm not sorry.
Next, we have this clip from TrueStream Media.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to make a quick video because with everything else that's going on, making so little mathematical sense in this country right now with things like shrinkflation.
Everyone is tired of being gaslit by grocery stores.
Look at how empty this is.
Their bottle bet actually give you an ounce less. Cliff bars going from 6 to 5, but keeping the box the exact same. Drinks going from 70 to 60% juice.
11 ounces, 12 ounces, same price.
The whole cup fit in my hand.
12 ounces, 170 calories, 11 ounces, 160 calories. The math doesn't even make sense.
Domino told us their industrial scales are calibrated on an ongoing basis.
Calibration, 100 grams, 100 grams.
And they run spot checks on their lines daily.
These bags, like always, supposed to weigh 2 pounds, 32 ounces. 1 pound, 14.9 ounces. Over an ounce stored in the bag.
How much money are you making by taking away an ounce? I needed that ounce.
1 pound, 13.2 ounces. That's ridiculous. That right there is short weighting. That right there is theft.
Shrinkflation, 90% of my salad was bones. Look at this. That's just the taints. That's iceberg taint that I had to pick out. Got about a quarter cup of actual lettuce. Fresh Express, who's your CEO? I'm gonna beat the out of you.
And mega food corporations getting caught using their size and power to extract hundreds of millions of dollars out of people and claiming it's inflation when it's not. Now, on top of all of that, you just have math that's just so utterly divorced from logic and common sense and reality. I mean, it's kind of like, have you been down the paper towel, toilet paper aisle lately? Like, none of the numbers on that aisle make any sense at all.
6 equals 18, 12 equals 24, 6 equals 12, and 2 equals 6, 8 equals 24, 8 equals 16. If you're a little kid and you come to this aisle, you're going to forget how to do math. 12 equals 48. No, it doesn't. It equals 72. No, wait, it equals 96. They're just making stuff up on this aisle. Like, none of this is based in any kind of reality. 1 equals 4. No, I'm pretty sure it's 1. Check it out. No, looks like 1 to me.
Well, ever since I can remember, if you bought the bigger size of something, like the family size or the bulk size, you would get a discount because you were buying more. And so the price of the smaller version was a little bit more per ounce or per item. If you bought more, you saved a little bit of money. And I'm noticing more and more in a lot of cases, that is not what is happening at all. And in fact, you are getting ripped off if you buy the bigger item sometimes.
Okay, but this is what we're starting to see, is if you buy the smaller bottle of something like this, not that you should probably buy that anyways, but if you did, you'd be paying $16.50 per ounce, 16.5 per ounce for 18 ounces. Or you could buy 30 ounces at 16.57. So buying the bigger bottle, you actually end up paying a little bit more. And that's...
Why wouldn't it at least be the same rate?
The same rate, yeah.
I mean, you should
it's
be
the same exact product.
And sometimes buying a lot. So now they're acting like they're doing you a favor because they put it in a bigger container, that you should pay more per ounce for the same exact product, which makes no sense because if you buy 2 of the smaller one, you're actually paying for more packaging. So just for greed's sake alone, and really no other reason I can think of, if they don't pay attention to this math, they're just getting people to pay more. But if they do pay attention, they're buying more packaging, more plastic. That's just going to turn into garbage and fill up landfills even faster. Because if you buy 2 of the smaller one, you get a better deal. It makes no sense. So I went around the store and tried to collect as many examples of this as I could find for you. This is not exhaustive at all in any way. This is just what I happened to see this morning when I was there. So there's probably a lot more that I missed because this wasn't every single, this is just when I noticed it, I filmed it so you could see for yourself what I'm talking about here. Real quick, I just want to say a lot of these items I personally wouldn't buy for myself because they have ingredients in them that are absolutely not good for you, but that's not really the point of this video. I've made lots of videos. We used to make videos on this channel in the early days all the time about ingredients in food. I think a lot of us are aware at this point, if you follow this channel, that there are ingredients allowed in the food in this country that are absolutely illegal in most of Europe and even in China that are still allowed in the food here. Not for reasons they can really explain to you. I mean, we absolutely have a terrible eugenical food system here, but that's not the point of this video. So I just want to show you some of these labels so you can see what I mean. This is a complete ripoff and just really insane. 27.57 for 14.4 ounces, or you can buy the bigger one at 19.2 ounces and pay 32.81 cents. So you actually just pay more for buying more. You shouldn't do this. I can pay 23 per ounce for 8 ounces or 24.33 per ounce for 12 ounces of the exact same product. Extra virgin olive oil. Check this out. You could pay 66.81 cents for 25.4 ounces, or you can pay 73.91 per ounce for 33.8 ounces. So buying the bigger bottle means you just pay more for the exact same thing. Olive oil, this seems to be happening a lot with the olive oil too, so definitely double check your olive oil. 5 pounds of rice, 9.96 per ounce. Same brand, 10 pounds of rice, 10.09 per ounce. At this point, why wouldn't you just buy 2 bags of 5 pounds that equals this? In some cases, it's a very small amount, but it's still just the fact that they're doing it all. In the aggregate of this, they're probably making millions of dollars off of people just by doing this little adjustment here. And I don't know who's buying 52 ounces of ranch dressing, but if you do buy this ranch dressing, buying the bigger bottle just means you're paying a little bit more for the privilege of buying the bigger bottle. I thought this was particularly odious because this is supposed to be, we have H-E-B grocery store here in Texas, and Hill Country Fair is supposed to be the budget-friendly private label that's owned by the H-E-B supermarket chain. So it's supposed to be marketed to families that are trying to save money as much as possible. Right here, this peanut butter, this is the exact same peanut butter. If you buy 40 ounces, it's 9.95 per ounce. But if you buy the 64-ounce jar, you're paying 10.11 per ounce. So buying the 64-ounce jar just means you're getting ripped off when you think you're trying to stock up. Same up here too. This is for the exact same peanut butter. Same one in this container that's in this container. It's the same product. Again, it's pennies on the dollar, but it's pennies every time anybody buys this across the entire state of Texas. Think about how much money is being made just because people aren't doing the math. Were you to buy the bigger size, you're literally just ripping yourself off. You should just buy 2 of the smaller size and waste more plastic. These are identical supplements. You can buy 100 for $7.08 per count for 100, or you can pay 10 cents for 250 for literally the exact same supplement. So, same thing. Costs more for the bigger one. This is so dumb. I mean, look at this. If you buy the 30-ounce big container of this, you're paying basically $38. If you buy 2 of the smaller one over here, you get almost half an ounce more for $4 less. So you're getting more product by buying 2 of the smaller ones, and you're paying $4 less. This doesn't make any sense. So this is one 12-ounce can for $1.97. Or you can buy 4 of the exact same thing in a 4-pack for $10.98, making it $2.75 per can. It's actually 2.745, but I guess that doesn't fit on the label. But the point is, you buy 1, it's going to be $1.97. So if you bought 4, you'd be paying like $8. But instead, they put it in a nice little box for you. And for the privilege of having that nice little box, you're going to go ahead and pay $3 more for the same exact thing. You're telling me that box costs $3? That's not a $3 box, okay? I'm sorry, but no. And they're just banking on people not paying attention, literally. I got chewed out making this video. This guy saw me filming, and so he followed me for several aisles just to tell me off. He just wanted to stop and say something nasty. But he said, if I don't like the prices at my grocery store, I can go to Walmart. And I was like, okay, well, they're about to have surveillance pricing at the Walmart.
I new shopping experience.
A new shopping experience is coming where we dynamically price you. Oh, it'll be so fun. So that's actually, I don't want to go there anyway, but even if I did, that's about to not be cheaper at all. It already isn't anyway in a lot of cases. So that's first of all. Then he said, you're just taking up aisle space. In an aisle that had 3 people in it, and we were 2 of those people. Because I took 15 seconds to film these packages and read out the price difference so that I could have examples to show you guys exactly what it is I'm talking about so that I have evidence to back up the claims that I'm making, because that's how journalism works. If I don't go in the store and do this, who's going to do it? Is anyone else doing it? I'm just trying to help here. And it was just kind of so nasty. I was just so taken aback by how weird it is to have someone get on my case for literally not any good reason at all. And I saw an elderly woman in the healthy eating aisle, the healthy living aisle, as opposed to all the other aisles, I guess. She had a full-on magnifying glass out. She was checking the supplements and she was reading all the ingredients, and I sincerely doubt that that nasty man would have gone up to her and said, hey, lady, you're just taking up aisle space. I sincerely doubt he would have been as nasty and vitriolic to her as he was to me.
Sometimes you interact with somebody and you can just tell, you're like, I can tell you've never not once been hit in your mouth. And you ought to have been, because it's a character building event.
For just doing my due diligence at the grocery store, which, by the way, I think we should all be doing. I think that lady has the right idea. I think we should all just pull up a chair and read as many labels as we want. This stuff is going inside of our bodies.
I mean, before we get into the pricing or the quality of the food, all the poisons that are in it, I mean, we've done videos on that.
We've talked about that a lot.
Sure we will again.
Probably.
Side note, but I just really felt like adding it. They don't have to put all these inactive ingredients. This right here is a bottle of aspirin, and the only inactive ingredient in it is cornstarch. That's it. Nothing else, nothing else. It works just fine. Don't have to have a bunch of polysorbate 80 and aluminum lakes of various colors, titanium dioxide, and a bunch of other, it's completely not neat talc and who knows what else. They put all kinds of stuff in here. That's unnecessary. When people buy these things, they're already in pain, they're already sick, their immune system is already suffering, and it's like, here you go. How about a whole bunch of extra unnecessary stuff you absolutely do not need and does not help your body with the problem you're having? How about we just put that in there? That'll be fine, right? And if you go to countries like the UK, for example, and you go to their grocery store chains like this one, Asda, and you buy paracetamol, which is their version of acetaminophen, you will find that there's 2 ingredients in it. 2. The acetaminophen, and literally 1 other ingredient that's been officially permitted to be used as a preservative to inhibit the growth of mold, bacteria, and yeast on the medicine. That's it. That's all that's in there. 2 ingredients. And that's a store brand. Same as here. So why do our store brands have to have 15 other quote unquote inactive ingredients? They just didn't figure that out all this time. They just don't know how to make a medicine that doesn't have all that in there. Is that what we're supposed to think? Every time I see this, every time I think about it, I can't help but wonder, how stupid do they honestly think everyone here is? And things don't change because we have people here who would rather uphold a system that actually seems to hate them. They would rather defend and protect and uphold that terrible system that actually seems to hate them. I'm not the one you should be mad at for pointing these things out. I've taken so much flack on this channel for the last 15 years of my life for saying any of this at all, but it's not me. I'm not the one doing it.
But now it's this whole business with the quantity thing not making sense. And I guess we're going to get yelled at by old boomers who in their day would not have stood for 1 penny of being ripped off.
Oh my gosh!
And would expect a strict bulk benefit.
That's correct.
At least not a price increase.
I cannot believe that guy went off on me like that.
But secondarily, this is not the age of some antiquated grocery store where someone's handwriting prices and like calculating by hand or something, where they just didn't realize they made a mistake and like, oh, we'll correct that. They're going around the store, their employees scan with that little handheld device every item throughout the day, and it's the precursor to the dynamic pricing thing that's about to happen at Walmart and these other stores. and they're deliberately using the algorithm, the program, what have you, to find little places where they can increase the price by a few cents here and there that they've calculated won't upset people or cause a change in sales and therefore boost the profits. They're manipulating things in a way that's never before been seen. And so it's just really ironic to be yelled at by the coupon cutting generation who tried to teach us all save a penny, earn a penny, and be really careful what you spend your money on and watch every little thing, to then get yelled at for taking a look. He snapped at us that we should go to Walmart, and that dude's got a surprise in store for him when he goes to Walmart, because in a couple months from now, right now they're rebooting the store for the dynamic pricing model, which I think is going to end up hurting Walmart and a lot of other retailers. I think there'll probably be a consumer revolt, but that's what they're going to try to do to people, is take away the price tags and attach it to people's profiles, their demographics, all this countless data they have on people in the algorithm.
So they could charge us more.
But we're supposed to be happy about that and take sass from the boomers who have been obsessed their whole life with penny pinching, coupon cutting, and all the rest of it.
It's ridiculous. I don't know. That was a ridiculous. I don't even know what else to say.
No way. No, my dad wouldn't stand for that. Not a chance.
My mom would have went off on that guy so bad. He would have been cussed out the aisle.
Well, I don't.
He would have been cussed out the aisle.
I don't appreciate the attitude, but just the principle of the money.
It's a little. It's like
my parents would not stand for being ripped off like
it's
that.
It's hypocritical and ironic. It's silly.
By the way, in today's experiment in grocery shopping of being on the algorithmic manipulation aisle and the psychological pressure aisle and the packaging psychology, only on the so-called natural aisle, the healthy food aisle, that was the only aisle where I noticed multiple people in a row reading labels and discussing unfair prices, things they got ripped off on. There's a mother telling her children, that's $1 more than they told you it was going to be. You need to go back and have a conversation with them. And then a little old lady who's getting some kind of vitamin supplement, and good for her, she was standing there with her magnifying glass reading the ingredients or the amounts and making sure it was the item she needed.
Yeah.
Because I've caught them on the vitamin aisle in that same store.
Ripping people
totally
off.
Ripping people off on quantity.
Correct.
And that's before you get into whether or not the ingredients are quality relative to other products.
It's just ripping you off. If you buy more, you pay more. It's just buy more, pay more. You probably want to know what's in it. It's actually a really good idea to do that. It's also a good idea to check prices and ounce costs to make sure that you're not getting any more financially raped than we've all already been ever since COVID. And that's when I first started noticing that this was a trend they were doing. But because I did that, I guess I just need to be dressed down by this guy in the boomer generation. And I just think it's really bizarre because I'm pretty sure that's the generation that taught my generation and generations beneath my generation that a penny saved is a penny earned. And we should, make sure we're not getting ripped off all the time. Well, now I guess it's the complete opposite of that. And we should just be happy with everything the way that it is. And I just don't think people like that guy realize that we're not happy with the way things are. In fact, every generation younger than that generation hates everything about the way things are and probably will burn it all down pretty soon here coming up, not too distant future, because it's so awful for everyone that isn't financially benefiting off of it. So whatever. I mean,
I would like to solve the puzzle. I would like to solve the puzzle. I would like to solve the puzzle. I would like to solve
the puzzle. Now let's take a look at this clip from Grand Theft World with guest Richard Gage.
Welcome back to Grand Theft World Podcast. Please welcome San Francisco Bay Area architect Richard Gage, AIA, a member of the American Institute of Architects and founder and former CEO of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. He now leads a charge for a new World Trade Center investigation, along with his courageous wife, Gail, a RichardGage911.org. Richard, how you doing, bro? Oh, you might be muted.
Muted.
We got you. Coming back. Come on back.
Good to see you. Long time no see. Great to be here with you again.
Well, thank you for staying up. It seems like a sensible gentleman as yourself would usually be in bed by this time, but you have a passion and a penchant for speaking out about these things. And I know you have an upcoming event, and I wasn't familiar with it. So I wanted to help position that and give you a showcase and let you have the floor and speak with Parrhesia. I also know that you're very comfortable giving presentations, but I also thought it might be refreshing if we just had a conversation. So I'll leave it up to you, because you're the guest and you have enough experience on the stage to set some of your own rules, as it were. You're a person who has learned to author his own script in life. So what do you feel like doing?
Well, I hate to show up and not have people see what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about Building 7 today, Richard and Scott. Hi, Scott.
What's up, Richard? Good to see you, my man. Always.
Yeah, awesome.
Now,
and
is
we're
this
going to talk about
yeah? Is it tied into the upcoming event? And I just wanted to get a lay of the land.
Is what tied into the upcoming?
Well, what you're talking about tonight.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Absolutely, so because
get me on the page.
We're going to be presenting to New York City and the world a live stream, a 4-day conference in New York on September 11th. 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th, 4 days. And we're looking forward to talking to you about that. We've got Jimmy Dore arriving live. We've got Brett Weinstein live, podcast host of the Dark Horse podcast. I'll be there talking about Building 7 and the Twin Towers, which is the work that I've been talking all around the world, 1,000 times now in 24 countries and 100 American cities. We have 3,600 architects and engineers demanding a new investigation into the destruction of all 3 World Trade Center skyscrapers. And it's been 20 years I've been doing this, and yet we're still not breaking through. Today, you did a fantastic podcast ripping from one end to the other Piers Morgan and his gaslighting of Roger Waters of Pink Floyd, who's supporting the Matt Campbell Supreme Court case for an inquest into his brother's death in the North Tower, murdered. Explosives were the cause of his brother's death. And that's what will be shown in the Supreme Court. So I just hate to have people know or hear that I'm talking about evidence, but not actually see it.
Good.
So that's what I would love to show at some point here.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm much the same way. I mean, otherwise it's just us making mouth sounds. But if I start taking the books off and I start, showing you around and you get familiarized and you can understand, then that person can come to their own conclusions. And I think our power as educators is not telling people what to think, but by providing them with the inconvenient data that exists in reality as facts and evidence outside of the official narrative. And there's official narratives on a lot of things. It could be Oklahoma City. It could be one of number of topics, World War I, Lusitania. I might have books up here that show Colonel House was talking with Lord Grey and they might have planned the whole thing. So taking these insulated aspects and studying one piece, you specialize in World Trade Center 7, which was a 47-story building, formerly Solomon Brothers, but Larry Silverstein bought it as part of the package in the months leading up to 9/11. It housed the largest CIA base outside of the CIA. I'll say all the stuff that you can't say in your presentation. It had the Secret Service. It had that's what I'm here for. Yeah, I want you to lean on me.
Well, you've done your homework.
You could ask me. You say, have you ever heard of Kevin Ryan's book? And I could talk all about it, but you don't have to talk about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It really helps. I don't want to lean past the technical expertise that I have and the credibility that I have as an architect, and lose that credibility when people say,
agree.
Like
and
Piers
I think
Morgan,
you should.
who did it?
Yeah,
you're saying the government did it?
You're not the who, you're the how.
Yeah, we're gonna look at the how today.
How long is this so people know what they're getting into? Set our expectations.
I've got a 5-hour presentation.
Good. It's a 20-hour show. We got it.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do that for you, Richard, and your
Right
audience
on.
particularly. I've also got it down to about a half an hour.
Let's do half hour Prezzo and half hour Convo, and then we might go a little overtime, but I also have a stacked show card for the rest of the night. So we're good to go, dude. Take off. Oh,
Hey.
bad pun. Bad pun. Too soon.
Yeah, right on. So I've got to bring one thing up. You've got my slideshow there. Do you want to?
Yeah, I can see you sharing screen. So Colby can give you full screen now that we're at that point, because I think you turned it on a couple minutes ago. I'm not sure if he had it up there, but as you take over, it will. There are a few people I would give full screen access to on here. There's a particular Etienne Delabuisi that likes to try to do it when he comes on as a guest. Maybe someday, Howard. But for Richard Gage, whom I filmed at MIT long ago, I got to find I have it on tape. I have it on DV tapes. If you don't have it, I have that Prezzo, and I want the hands up and the hands down. I'm going to show that to
You know
people.
what? I need that really badly. That was a great seminal presentation early on in our years to a group of college students and lots of other people. And like you said, we said, how many people pretty much agree with the official narrative about how these towers, most of the hands go up. Yes, that's the kind of audience I'm looking for, Richard. I want to speak to people who already are not deeply involved in the exposing of this truth. I want to educate them. And at the end of this presentation, I go, how many think we need a new investigation? These are controlled demolitions. And,
well, I mean, personally, I'm just here to get an education from you, and I happen to be doing it in front of a live audience, but I was near the building you're talking about when the things happened. So I have a great deal, many questions, and until people can adjudicate the things that go on that day, I'm just interested in being the learner and still breathing. So lay it on me. What do you got?
We're right on. Have you ever heard of Building 7, Richard?
I have. Yeah.
47 stories. Me too. But you know what? Hopefully your audience has the courage to share these podcasts with others who don't. And that's we want to get the word out, right?
We have the most intrepid audience on the planet.
Yes, but don't
with the longest attention spans that can actually internalize what you're saying. So you're in happy
right
company
on,
here.
And don't be exclusive with this information, you guys. Building 7 was a 47-story skyscraper, easily the tallest building in most of our states. And yet it went down on 9/11. And after witnesses heard explosions, as you've seen, there was some damage to the building, a little bit of damage, but NIST says this is not a significant factor in the building's collapse. Well, let's look at that collapse. Here's the east penthouse on the upper left, drops about 6 seconds before the overall collapse. And then this happens.
Now, can you pause it right there?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Okay, so if you take it back to right before it collapses, this is just my observation. I didn't graduate with an engineering degree because I found out how much they got paid and I had to change majors. But what I can tell you is that for all these buildings all these windows on the right that you see snap out at the same time, they had to remove a column underneath the building, and it doesn't match up with NIST's explanation just from this perspective. But I could go into all the other video of this building on that day. But please continue.
Oh yeah, well, this east penthouse, this west penthouse and screen wall here drop uniformly within a half of a second before the overall collapse. Now that the east penthouse you're going to see drop here right away, and it comes down in an isolated event, and then 6 seconds later, the west penthouse and screen wall disappear, and then the whole thing comes down. That proves that the NIST theory is wrong, which says that in a matter of 6 seconds from east to west, left to right, this building drops like a rock. So we disproved them 6 ways from Sunday. But here's the official narrative.
What we found was that uncontrolled building fires caused an extraordinary event. The collapse of World Trade Center 7 was primarily due to fire.
Fires, primarily due to fires. Well, let's look at those fires. These are the worst fires that we have photographic or video evidence of in the building. They're few, they're relatively small, and they're scattered throughout the building. All firefighters say we could put those fires out. They're not afraid of these fires. And yet they have never lost a steel frame, fire protected type 1.
Also, if I might add,
building.
now that we're co-presenting, the fire sprinkler system in the building was fully functional the entire time and was never separated from the water supply.
Well, there are videos showing the sprinklers working in the lower half of the building, completely contradicting the NIST report that says they were out. But look, how many buildings have we lost due to fire? Not one. And there's been dozens and dozens of much hotter, larger, and longer lasting fires in these buildings, especially these, right? Fully engulfed. Not one of these high rises came down by fire. Well, what can do this to a building? Well, it's easy to compare. A controlled demolition on the left, series of them. Building 7 on the right, is there any similarity? Is there enough similarity to warrant an investigation into the possible use of explosives? Especially since fire, the official cause of this building's collapse, has never in history brought down a steel frame fire protected building. So we have to ask some serious questions. Does it have any of the other features of controlled demolitions? Let's begin with a sudden onset. Is there such a thing? Well, let's listen to Dan Rather narrate his first observation of this building's collapse.
And what you're seeing are high shots. Now, here we're going to show you a videotape of the collapse itself. Describe that. Now we go to videotape the collapse of this building.
It's amazing.
Amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all
Richard
seen.
Grove, can you hear audio?
Before when
I can hear audio on my end, yes.
by well-placed dynamite did not
I want to make sure the stream's getting audio, though.
Yeah,
Richard, when you shared on Zoom,
I did share
you
the audio, yeah.
You're professional. See, your control room over here, they're trying to be on point, but you're actually on point. Please continue, sir.
You might double check.
We'll double check. It doesn't hurt.
We do need that audio. Is there a straight down symmetrical progression, which is the second feature of controlled demolition, right? Let's look from West Street. Yeah, pretty straight down, pretty symmetrical. How do you do that, Richard? You have to take out all of the core columns at once, within a fraction of a second of each other, followed about a second later by the perimeter columns. Now, and you got to repeat that floor by floor, all the way down the building, right? So guess what can't do this? Fire. Guess what else can't do it? Nuclear weapons. Guess what else can't do it? Directed energy weapons. They don't have this level of precision, and they've never been shown to directed energy weapons take out buildings. So we have to address these myths that pop up here and there. Do these fires have that capability? No, they don't either. The building's going to be damaged on one side by fire, as NIST claims. The building is going to be falling to that side. And it's just, intuitive. How fast is this building coming down? Well, physicists have recorded it. It's coming down at free fall acceleration. What does that mean? That's as fast as a bowling ball falling out of the sky. Now, the bowling ball has no resistance under it. This building had 40,000 tons of structural steel supporting it. How can it fall as if it were not even there? I mean, where did these columns go? All 80 of them, as if they weren't even there. What can do that? Again, not fire, not nuclear weapons, because you'd see it, right? Not directed energy weapons. There's no precision. So we've got a real problem here.
Now, we take a look at this clip from Whitney, Webb, and Mark Goodwin.
Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the new Unlimited Hangout video podcast. I'm Whitney Webb, founding and contributing editor of Unlimited Hangout.
Hey, Whitney, nice to be here. I'm Mark Goodwin. I also help out at Unlimited Hangout and doing the production for the show. Very fun. Happy to be here on our first episode. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. It turns out you'll be on every episode.
Hey.
yeah, that's how we planned it. Anyway, so you didn't say it in your intro of yourself, but you also write for Unlimited Hangout
True.
beyond just helping out.
That's true.
And people may have noticed that our most recent article written by you and me about Polymarket created a little bit of a
stir.
A stir. That's the best word for it.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, so that happened. But before we get into that, I guess we should talk about why we're doing a show, because, I don't know, you may have noticed that there's been videos of me that aren't like videos I have done in the past on YouTube. Of course, that's because they're not me. They're something else.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I've talked about it before. You may, if you follow me on Twitter, X, whatever, you may have seen my pinned tweet, which is about, an AI impersonation problem I've had for a few years. Talked to James Corbett about it a few years ago. But basically, if you've been watching a video of me on YouTube in the past, 2 years, there's a 90% chance I had nothing to do with it, and it's not even me, or it's either an AI me or AI slop of me. So the best way to fight that, I guess, is, we have to make our own YouTube channel to be able to report spam or impersonations on YouTube.
This is how we have to fight the slop-apocalypse in general, is just make original content and do cool stuff. Put yourself out there. Hang out. It's a kind of obviously we write dense articles. We got a lot of dense stuff to talk about today, but
yeah,
be original, be sincere, be yourself, and obviously we're not going to be as to the point as if we were running some AI slop teleprompter thing, but we're humans, and that's what's cool about us, is that we're humans, and here we are to do some human stuff, and we wrote about some humans with this piece. Yes. Hello, fellow humans. And we wrote about some humans in this piece, and obviously we got some interesting reactions from humans when we put out this piece. We want to obviously get into the piece, but we do think it's maybe an important coloring just before we have this discussion of we got a bunch of crazy feedback, and a bunch of people said a bunch of mean shit about us.
Well, it's kind of one of those microcosms of what it's like to make content today.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a writer of long form articles, as we are.
Yes.
Because people react intensely without reading anything.
Oh yeah.
And it's funny because most of that comes from the crowd of people that claim to be against that and claim to be the facts over feelings people, and are now, since 2024, pretty much the opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our article, I guess we should talk about it now for people that haven't seen it, was about Polymarket, the now, almost ubiquitous prediction market platform.
Yeah.
That's done a bunch of media partnerships, and we'll talk about this at a future date because this is part one that we published. We have a part two, but they have plans to change the future of journalism forever, among other things forever. So we'll be talking about that at a future date. But part one is basically just about the origins and context that created Polymarket. And so to promote the piece, I mentioned one, I thought, interesting nugget, because it's the most obvious thing, I guess, that Shane Copeland, the Polymarket founder, explicitly tried to obfuscate from his past. So I made a little note of that in the tweet, being look at what they obfuscated, which was, a tie to a previous company he's never talked about called Token Union or Token Bank, or very, very few articles, and there's been tons written about the guy, reference it, but none really looked in. Even with those references, there was no discussion of the company really at all. So obviously we discussed it, and we one of the things we mentioned in the tweet, or I mentioned in the tweet, was that it was intimately integrated with and connected to Bancor, which was co-founded by Benjamin Netanyahu's niece and nephew. And so because of that, even though later on in the tweet I talked about what the article's really about, which is how Polymarket is essentially a privatized DARPA program. From the early 2000s. So it's really about DARPA and
U.S.
the Peter Thiel-verse and U.S. intelligence. People just assumed it was all about Israel. And so we got a lot of accusations about being anti-Semitic and
and just
other stuff that wasn't really related to the piece at all.
No.
So it's just kind of one of those examples where people like harp in on something, and of course the people that were most mad are like either Polymarket fanboys or employees of platforms that are partnered with Polymarket. X itself, or formerly Twitter.
Yeah.
Being a big one, and so Nikita Beer, is that how you say his name?
I don't know.
I don't know. that guy.
Yeah, called you mentally ill.
Yeah,
or
well,
us
a lot of people that were triggered by it that also admittedly didn't read the article called us mentally ill.
Yeah. Which, it's just, Whitney was just using an example basically to say this guy's origin story is full of shit, which it is. And the example she happened to use involved the name Netanyahu and Israeli VCs.
It's true, though.
And Israeli interests, these advisors that were at that company he was doing before Polymarket. All of it is true. The article has absolutely nothing to do with Jews or Israel or whatever. It's ridiculous. Read the article. It has way more to do with the privatization of military programs.
Yes.
And so we're getting into all of that right now. But we wanted to just start that off at the top. It's like one of the reasons why we're doing this show in general, despite the AI impersonation thing that Whitney talked about, is like people don't read that much. And we want to make sure that, we're able to explain ourselves and tell the story for those that don't read. So the secret history of Polymarket, part 1. From unlimitedhangout.com from Whitney Webb and Mark Goodwin. Here we are. So I guess a good place to start is just like, what is a prediction market, I guess? And this idea of a prediction market is, well, hey, let's set up a market just like we have for financial products, commodities, currencies, stocks, equities, bonds, whatever. Let's create a market just like that, buyers and sellers, but for, predictive outcomes. So, World Cup's blowing up right now. So, Argentina, will Argentina win the World Cup? Yes or no? It's this binary outcome, and you can vote on who's going to win the World Cup. Is Argentina going to win the World Cup? And you can buy essentially like shares in the yes or shares in the no. And then, of course, there are non-binary outcomes like, who will be the next Fed chair? Kevin Warsh or, Nancy Sheldon, Judy Sheldon or whatever. And, there can be more than 2. There can be like 4 or 5, and you can buy shares based on that. So prediction markets are sort of a simple idea, but with really crazy consequences and intentions and just, real world applications that are very interesting, and that we're going to get into all that. Before we get into all that, of like where it's going, which is mostly what part 2 is going to be like. We kind of have to explain like who created these, where did they come from, and what are they doing now.
Right. So as we note in the article, basically the first prediction market came out in the late 80s, University of Iowa. It was like an academic experiment, and they got a waiver from the CFTC to operate their prediction market as long as it was run solely for academic purposes. And I think experimental purposes also.
Yeah. But so, and then the timing on that, it was founded in 88 or started.
I forget the exact year.
A little bit before, but it was around the first Bush senior.
Yeah, the 1988 presidential election, which is interesting because even like years later, Polymarket, its rise to popularity is generally also coincided with U.S. presidential elections.
That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, smart. Okay, so
sometimes.
Anyway, that was basically kind of a closed system. Like anyone could apply, but they couldn't promote it, and the amount of money you could wager on any given thing was pretty small.
It was like a $500 limit.
But then this guy who we'll be talking a lot about, named Robin Hanson, developed this idea called of idea futures in the early 90s. And he had been sort of like a contractor for Lockheed and NASA, writing about AI back then, Bayesian statistics, and some other things. Very interesting libertarian coded thinker for sure. Very interesting dude. Anyway. He teamed up with these other guys who had read his paper and in 1994 created the Foresight Exchange, which was basically the first iteration of the modern prediction market that we know of now, where basically you could bet on all sorts of ideas, essentially. Hence idea futures. But it was play money, not real money. And after that, we basically, just in sort of writing the narrative, there's a couple prediction markets that came up in the late 90s that we didn't include, but are sort of referenced later in the page. Yeah. And what was
Trade Sports?
Trade Sports, that's it. Yeah, because obviously sports betting and prediction markets, since you brought up the example of the World Cup, there's always kind of been a synergy there,
Well, it's the most like straightforward like application of these things because sports betting is a multi-billion dollar industry. It's really huge. And who runs these casinos? Who's the casino people?
Well,
Who's the,
what I was going to say about sports betting is that there's this really interesting book that I like leaned on a good amount for parts of my book, One Nation Under Blackmail, by Dan Moldea. That's basically about how organized crime taking over the NFL.
Right.
to basically like because of sports betting.
Yeah.
So, that nexus explored in One Nation Under Blackmail, obviously in that book as it relates to Jeffrey Epstein, it's basically about intelligence and organized crime.
Right.
They've been really big into sports for a long time, so interesting.
And just casino stuff in general. I mean, that's what that's one of the main ways that these guys, you look at the power nexus that's in power right now. I mean, it's casino guys. It's, Trump blew up.
Yeah, we have a lot to say about that later on, but that might be in the part 2 video. Sorry.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think the other really big thing to talk about at the beginning of this sort of, is the jurisdictional issues with using, highly regulated currency, right? Like there's a lot of the early digital currency stuff came out of like the poker community. I mean, the original Bitcoin client had a poker client, like remnants of it within the original code. You look at a Brock Pierce, like a Tether founder, and like they're doing all this digital good stuff in like video games, but that whole nexus was all about kind of like getting money offshore via these instruments and prediction markets. We'll get into a little bit here later, but like they really don't work. They weren't able to be popularized in the way Polymarket is without cryptocurrency existing.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
For a lot of reasons. Jurisdictional reasons, legislative reasons, and also just like 24/7 internet, markets. So a lot of the stuff that these guys were doing early on, they weren't able to scale because they had to be closed boxes because of the way the economics of it worked. And now with cryptocurrency, it's a much open moat, much bigger moat.
In keeping with the chronology here, though, it's interesting you brought that up because the guy that co-founded the next one that we talk about in the piece is Max Keiser, who's at the time, I think he was at Alex Brown and Sons, which is a bank that we'll have a piece on later this year about because of its executives. Who Keiser actually called out at one point. But anyway, he's best known as a Bitcoin evangelist, early evangelist. An eccentric one at that, but he created this thing called the Hollywood Stock Exchange.
96, I think.
Yeah, with another Wall Street guy, or then Wall Street guy, Michael Burns, who's now best known for like a leading role at Lionsgate Films. And being a big film executive. But they created the Hollywood Stock Exchange, which again was still play money. But it, developed this huge following. People were crazy, obsessed with it. The ones that were into it, and people were paying real money for these fake portfolios on this play money exchange.
And they created, the patents that basically set up the digital security space. Keiser is very, and I kind of grew up on the Keiser Report. I really enjoy his work with him and Stacy on that show. I think they did really good journalism there. But he, and part of his, turning into being a journalist came from his experience with the Hollywood Stock Exchange. So he created like the virtual security specialist patent or something like that. I apologize, Max, for getting that wrong. And then, pretty promptly got in a whole bunch of trouble with even though it was fake money. There was a lot of jurisdictional issues, legal issues with running the Hollywood Stock Exchange, and they ended up kind of tearing it apart, breaking it down into pieces, and the patents and the majority of the users and everything that was on it got shifted over to Cantor Fitzgerald, our boy, our Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, the bagman for Tether. His firm ended up buying it in 2000 or 2001,
Yeah.
And I think it was like May of 2001. I might
that
be
sounds
incorrect.
about right. Mm-hmm.
And then promptly moved all of the IP and everything into the big towers there in Manhattan, or I should say that used to be there in Manhattan. And then a few months later, obviously, the Cantor Fitzgerald office was blown up, and with it, you know, the any sort of further pushing of the Hollywood Stock Exchange, it kind of ended there at 9/11.
Yeah, we'll save the Cantor 9/11 story for another time.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but anyway, basically what Lutnick wanted to do with this is he was like, great idea, but let's take away the play money and make it real money.
Right.
And basically,
not to interrupt, but for you know, Cantor is one of the 24 primary dealers of the New York Fed. They're the largest bond treasury dealer in the United States and therefore in the world for treasury. So him wanting to take this model and apply it with real money is a humongous deal just with who Cantor is.
Right. No, all good. And can I just do my own sidebar and be like, we're one of the few outlets that's been covering Lutnick like a hawk since like the end of 2023 before he was part of the Trump campaign.
That's right.
Yeah, because there's a lot of crazy stuff he's been involved with, even recently, that has not gotten a lot of attention.
Frankly, I think we popularized the he's Epstein's neighbor. I think we kind of blew that up. Anyways, not to toot our own horns here, but anyways, have fun, run with it.
You just a little toot, but
excuse me.
No, it's all good. So basically, Lutnick wanted to usher in this era of a new type of commodity futures, basically film futures. And so obviously his plans were kind of scuppered a little bit by 9/11, and then a few years later, and then a few years later, they relaunched. Or attempted to relaunch, but it was during the 2008 economic crisis, or rather in the aftermath of that. And so, you know, Congress was like not into it because, well, presumably they were like, our constituents will be mad if we approve this. And so eventually in some of the laws that were passed in the wake of the 2008 economic crisis, there was like a lot of like prejudice text against Cantor Fitzgerald's film future plans specifically. Like they literally were like, no film futures ever in it. Yeah. Which is kind of funny, but in trying to get that to happen, he hired lobbyists and some people, and one of the guys he hired was this guy, Rich Jacobs, who now works for Polymarket as like a top guy, was hired like 2 years ago.
Is that a thing that happens, that old guys, like people that worked at Intrade or whatever, end up advising like Auger? What's Auger? Anyways, we'll get into all that. But it seems to be kind of a reoccurring thing where all of these early 90s, like early technological iterations of this, they like bring all these guys back in and then they do all this stuff later. It's so interesting. It's probably not a it is a coincidence, I mean. Anyways, so yes, Hollywood Stock Exchange sort of wraps that kind of thing up there.
So anyway, 2001, right, is when where we were sort of a second ago with
9/11.
Cantor and Hollywood Stock Exchange. So 9/11 may have scuppered Cantor's plans, but it supercharged the plans of someone else to get into the prediction market space, which is the U.S. military. DARPA. What do you mean?
The U.S. military took advantage of 9/11 to push initiatives that they had been planning for an extremely long time. I don't think that you're allowed to say that on YouTube.
We'll find out.
We'll be right back.
Now, we take a look at this clip from the Jimmy Dore Show with Kurt Metzger and Garland Nixon.
My name's Garland Nixon. I am standing in for the one and only Jimmy Dore. Israel is crocodile plan to stop Palestinian prisoners escaping. Government
like a moat?
I'm guessing. Government removes legal protections for Nile crocodiles as Ben Gvir pushes for detention compound ringed by reptiles.
Wait, so they were endangered? Because why would they have legal protections? The crocodiles, they're endangered.
Well,
the government's removing their legal protections.
Let us continue. The Israeli government has stripped Nile crocodiles of protected status.
Are they?
And it's good for the crocodiles, paving the way for
Muslim.
I guess so. Well, let's face it. They got more protected. The Palestinians didn't have protected status, but crocodiles did. So in Israel, you would be far safer to be a crocodile than a Palestinian. And now they're going to mix the two together, which is in a way that I think is going to be basically in violation of international law, paving the way for a proposal to build a detention facility for Palestinians surrounded by the reptiles, Israeli media reported. Environmental Minister Edith Silman signed a decree on Wednesday reclassifying Nile crocodiles as a specially managed wild animal, a new legal category that allows the state to keep the animals for security purpose, according to Israeli news site Ynet. In the decree, Silman said Israel's security forces could now keep crocodiles under specific conditions. According to Ynet, the move went against the advice of the Environment Ministry's legal advisor and environmental groups. Oh, yes, Israel's real concerned about a legal advisor because they never want to violate the law. The decision follows months of pressure from National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who in December proposed building a prison encircled by crocodiles.
Does he know how crocodiles work? And it sounds like he's not an expert on crocodiles by any means, because I know it sounds cool in a cartoonish way if you're like a mad science, like a Dr. Evil from that movie. But when do you feed them? They're not always out. They're not always going to be on duty, is what I'm saying. The way maybe you think they are, unless you're gonna starve them. Is that the plan?
Well, there's another side of it, and that is they're not real trainable. You know what I mean? I mean, they only do a couple things, but they do them really good. Really, they bite. That's what they do. They bite, but they do roll after they bite.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I don't think crocodiles discriminate between Palestinians and Israeli guards. I mean, if one of the Israeli guards, it's kind of dark and he walks down the wrong path and goes the wrong way and he bumps into something in the dark, what the hell is that, a rock? It ain't
really,
a rock,
it's an
dude.
expensive enclosure for crocodiles is all you're getting for your money. Like a crocodile zoo. But, I don't know. This guy Ben-Gvir is really something else. I don't know. Like, people don't really seem to know who he is over here. But he's a major influence on me.
Well, my history in law enforcement, why don't we start with the security evaluation? How many Palestinian prisoners have escaped? None?
No idea.
None? To my knowledge, I don't think
Maybe
there's
they should guard the crocodiles. Man, guard each other.
Yeah. So you're taking people who basically you generally have not been charged with a crime. They have been beaten and oftentimes shot and they get tortured, but you bring them in. And none of them has gotten out, and you're going to add crocodiles for, I don't know. I think it's kind of just like
crocodiles. They're going to feed them to crocodiles.
I think you're right.
To throw their bodies when
there's no question. Well, earlier we did this thing where he was showing his torture chamber. The crocodiles are going to be part of the torture chamber. That's what Ben-Gvir, who oversees the Israeli prison service, said he was inspired by Florida's controversial immigration detention center dubbed Alligator Alcatraz.
What? They were inspired by him. What a coincidence.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
What a mutual admiration.
Officials at the Israel Nature and Parks Authority had previously argued that crocodiles should only be kept for education and research. The Environment Ministry
Palestinians a lesson.
Yeah. The Environmental Ministry's legal advisor, Netta Dore, also opposed the plan, saying it lacked a sufficient legal and professional basis. I'm just saying, I just don't feel like the leaders of the Israel government are real concerned about staying within the confines of law, be it international or domestic in their case.
When they all protested in favor of prisoner rape by guards?
Exactly. Hey, the law says we can't rape people. Well, screw the law then. But rape them anyway.
The crocodile thing instead of that, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean,
crocodile guards that are not going to bother me if I don't go in their area,
Well, you got to understand something. You are the chosen people, and God wants you to rape people. You got to have a torture chamber. That's, I mean, what kind of a godly, beloved, chosen person are you without a torture chamber, right? And then, of course, you got to feed people to the crocs. This, I guarantee you hit the nail on the head. They're going to feed people to the crocs.
Yeah, it sounds like Saddam Hussein shit. We had to overthrow Saddam Hussein for this shit. This is the kind of shit they're like, rape rooms and crocodile. He feeds them this. This is all Saddam Hussein stuff. All of this. It's amazing.
You know what it is?
I bet Saddam wasn't even as bad as them.
I guarantee. You know what it is? It's all the propaganda and the lies we make up to invade a country. We say things like, yes, Gaddafi's a terrible guy. He's giving people free education. I mean, what he's doing is he's feeding people to the crocodile. All of the crap that we make up. to invade it, to demonize the leader of a country. Where do you think we get the ideas from?
Yeah, right.
So there we go. Feed people to the crocs. Let us continue. The IPS argued its staff could handle crocodiles because of their experience working with attack dogs. Boy, are they going to get a surprise. Go ahead and pet him a little bit. Hey, bring him over here and pet him. And by the way, if he doesn't do what you want, hit him on the snoot with a newspaper. That'll work out fine. The IPS does not appear to have expertise in raising dangerous wild animals such as crocodiles. Oh, they're going to get some. You start messing with crocodiles, you will get experience. But ain't going to do you no good. She wrote, concluding that the legal requirements for the declaration had not been met. Despite that opinion, Silman approved the measure this week. I don't understand this article. You can't talk about the Israelis and use the word legal requirement.
No, not on international law, their own law. They'll tell you. I mean, I've heard maniacs tell you how lawful they are, and they're leaving out the thing that they're not considering international any law except one they made up themselves within Israel. I doubt they even follow their own fucking law, to be honest with you.
No. Well, look what they did. The law said they couldn't do this with crocodiles. And in fact, like their legal advisor says, we can't do that. That would be illegal. And they said, oh, really? So it's a violation of our own law? Yeah. Well, we do it anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, it's like sharks with lasers on their heads. They're in Wacky Town now out there. I don't know, man. It's going to get worse because that guy goes to jail the second all this madness stops. So,
and as crazy as that sounds, it sounds like madness. It sounds like insanity until you realize this. They literally got the idea from us. As crazy as it sounds.
Do we say to have an alligator moat prison?
Alligator. Well, the whole alligator Alcatraz thing where we had some prison out in the wild or something where there was alligators around.
Right.
It.
But even that was just that it's in the wilds. And it's not that they're going to be responsible for maintaining a population of crocodiles as like guards. It was a natural, they built it in a place where there are alligators. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a little different.
And there's been a couple movies with Papillon or something. There's been movies about these prisons that were out
Devil's
in
Island, yeah.
Yeah, where sharks, where you couldn't swim the shore because there were sharks. So there is a history of putting prisons where the dangerous wild animals are. But there ain't much of a history of putting the dangerous wild animals where the prisons are.
That's why this is different, is because you're bringing them here. You essentially have a zoo, like a terror zoo now that you have to maintain.
And by the way, when the prisoners die because they've been tortured or beaten or whatever, and you need to dispose of the body, unlike the Epstein Island, you won't have to bring in truckloads of sulfuric acid to melt the bodies of children.
As is
in this instance, Palestinian children, heave them right out into the moat. They get mangled. You might find some ripped up clothes or something. You can just, like you're cleaning a pool with the thing, you can just have a net and swipe the clothes up every now and then, and the bodies are disposed of, and the crocodiles are. That looks like the direction they're going here in that madhouse.
Buddhist meditation, chuck some prisoners into a croc pond, and
there you go. Ben Gavir celebrated the decision on Facebook like you do. They throw me off Facebook. If I did anything that he did, anything that he says, hey, they killed somebody. Yeah. I literally got suspended from
what?
From X last week.
Why?
Lindsey Graham died. And I put out a tweet and it said, Lindsey Graham is dead. This is what it said. The sky is bluer. Food tastes better. Everything is better today. Lindsey Graham is dead.
You go right to Camp Crocodile for that kind of talk.
Hate speech. I can show it to you. Literally, I did a video about it on my YouTube. It said hate speech, and it said that I could be thrown off of X if I continued that kind of hate speech.
Oh, good. I'm so glad Elon got his mind right with trip to Auschwitz with Ben Shapiro, and it turned him all right around.
Yeah, it's nothing like it was when Jack Dorsey was there. So now, but meanwhile, I saw other tweets that said, Lindsey Graham's dead. I hate that bastard. I hope he rots in hell. That wasn't hate speech. But if I just say he's dead, I almost feel like they were targeting me.
I would say it's an almost certainty that you were being targeted specifically, actually.
Since after this show, it ain't going to get no better. Since the genocide in Gaza.
His association won't help you. You crocodile bait down.
Yo, that's right. Oh, that's right. Oh boy, he's hanging out with that Kurt Metzger guy, huh? Hey, we got something for him. We're going crocodile hunting. Since the genocide in Gaza began in October 2023, Ben-Gvir has overseen a sharp deterioration in conditions for Palestinians held in Israeli prisons, including torture, starvation, and degradation. Certainly, that's exactly but wait a minute. I don't think that was a deterioration. I kind of think, historically, that that's what the hell they've been doing since 1948. Torture, starvation, degradation.
It's fucking crazy. Well, whatever. Sooner or later, you can't hide a crime of this magnitude forever. You can do it for a while, though.
Yeah.
And you can ruin America's economy while you get away with it. And then once everything comes out, they'll just be all smoking ruins. Everybody be fighting each other. I'm guessing that's the plan, right?
Absolutely. Human rights organizations have accused Israel of widespread abuses and described some detention facilities as torture camps. Or I would put it like this: they've described some of the torture camps as detention facilities. It's more like it. Silman's decision drew opposition from the Israeli Nature and Parks Authority and environmental groups, which argued the move is unlawful and puts both crocodiles and the public at risk. This is how bad Israel is now. They're going to feed the Palestinians to the crocodile. And the Nature and Parks Authority come out in favor of the crocodiles. Hey, you put these damn crocodiles at risk, man. I mean, come on. They're going to have to eat Palestinians. They're going to have to chew them up. Some of them could have, I don't know, a parasite. These poor crocodiles will get explosive diarrhea if they get these parasites. We got to save them. How about that?
There's a comic here, Hassan, who was talking about that exploit. He goes, is there any other kind of diarrhea? I had a nice relaxing diarrhea earlier.
Yeah. The INPA
There's only one kind.
The INPA said there was no sufficient professional basis to permit crocodiles to be kept at security facilities. So luckily, these really nice people in Israel, the liberals who are the Nature Parks Authority and all of these places came out and said, you can't do this. Why? We stand for the crocodiles. You have to find another way to torture and kill people. But crocodiles, you're just, you're torturing and raping. But
imagination with other crazy animal.
Exactly.
You have ants or something out there?
Yeah. Yeah, we're putting these poor crocodiles in a position while that's stepping over the line here, Kurt. So let's see, is there anything else? In a joint statement, several environmental organizations said they strongly object to the use of animals as a means of guarding and deterrence. They ain't gonna be the guarding and deterrence, they're gonna eat people. Crocodiles are sentient beings with complex needs for space, water temperature, and natural behavior. They don't care about the Palestinians that they're feeding to. They're all like, you're going to do this to these poor dear little crocodiles. Oh, God.
Well, I thought it sounded odd off the top because they're animals. They're not just going to. I thought these were the AI robot people over there that they had all the tech to not have to use live crocodile. Do you see what it said, though? Because in the winter, they become very sluggish.
Yes.
It turns out because they're reptiles. That's what I said at the top. Like, how would you. That's not going to be it's just bad for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. But their only concern is the crocodiles, not the people that are getting fed to the crocodiles. They're shedding, dare I use this term, crocodile tears over the crocodiles.
Well, there's a chance that we can save the crocodiles. There's a hope of possibly stopping the murder of the crocodiles. There is none of stopping this. They're going to do what they're going to do. Yeah. And they're going to make sure World War III happens. And they're going to push it until every punk-ass country around there, I guess, is like enough. It can't all be the Houthis pulling the weight, can it? I guess it is.
Hey, come see me on tour. We'll be in Burbank, California, August 30th with a live celebrity panel show. And then September 18th through the 20th in Chicago, Illinois and Rosemont, Illinois. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for tickets.
I just don't feel like the leaders of the Israel government are real concerned about staying within the confines of law, be it international or domestic in their case.
When they all protested in favor of prisoner by guards.
My name's Garland Nixon. I am standing in for the one and only Jimmy Dore. Israel is crocodile plan to stop Palestinian prisoners escaping. Government
like a moat.
I'm guessing. Government removes legal protections for Nile crocodiles as Ben-Gvir pushes for detention compound ringed by reptiles.
Wait, so they were endangered? Because why would they have legal protections? The crocodiles, they're endangered.
Well,
the government's removing their legal protections.
Let us continue. The Israeli government has stripped Nile crocodiles of protected status.
Are they?
And then it's good for the crocodiles, paving the way for
crocodiles Muslim.
I guess so. Well, let's face it. They got more protected. The Palestinians didn't have protected status, but crocodiles did. So in Israel, you would be far safer to be a crocodile than a Palestinian. And now they're going to mix the two together, which is in a way that I think is going to be basically in violation of international law. Paving the way for a proposal to build a detention facility for Palestinians surrounded by the reptiles, Israeli media reported. Environmental Minister Edith Silman signed a decree on Wednesday reclassifying Nile crocodiles as a specially managed wild animal, a new legal category that allows the state to keep the animals for a security purpose, according to Israeli news site Ynet. In the decree, Silman said Israel's security forces could now keep crocodiles under specific conditions. According to Ynet, the move went against the advice of the Environment Ministry's legal advisor and environmental groups. Oh, yes, Israel's real concerned about a legal advisor because they never want to violate the law. The decision follows months of pressure from National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir, who in December proposed building a prison encircled by crocodiles.
Does he know how crocodiles work? And it sounds like he's not an expert on crocodiles by any means, because I know it sounds cool in a cartoonish way if you're like a mad science, like a Dr. Evil from that movie. But when do you feed them? They're not always out. They're not always going to be on duty, is what I'm saying. The way maybe you think they are, unless you're going to starve them. Is that the plan?
Well, there's another side of it, and that is they're not real trainable. You know what I mean? I mean, they only do a couple things, but they do them really good. Really, they bite. That's what they do. They bite, but they do roll after they bite.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, I don't think crocodiles discriminate between Palestinians and Israeli guards. I mean, if one of the Israeli guards, it's kind of dark and he walks down the wrong path and goes the wrong way and he bumps into something in the dark, what the hell is that, a rock? It ain't
really,
a rock,
it's an
dude.
expensive enclosure for crocodiles is all you're getting for your money. Like a crocodile zoo. But, I don't know. This guy Ben-Gvir is really something else. I don't know. Like, people don't really seem to know who he is over here. But he's a major influence on me.
Well, my history in law enforcement, why don't we start with the security evaluation? How many Palestinian prisoners have escaped? None?
No idea.
None? To my knowledge, I don't think
Maybe
there's
they should guard the crocodiles. Man, guard each other.
Yeah. So you're taking people who basically you generally have not been charged with a crime. They have been beaten and oftentimes shot and they get tortured, but you bring them in. And none of them has gotten out, and you're going to add crocodiles for, I don't know. I think it's kind of just like
crocodiles. They're going to feed them to crocodiles.
I think you're right.
To throw their bodies when
there's no question. Well, earlier we did this thing where he was showing his torture chamber. The crocodiles are going to be part of the torture chamber. That's what Ben-Gvir, who oversees the Israeli prison service, said he was inspired by Florida's controversial immigration detention center dubbed Alligator Alcatraz.
What? They were inspired by him. What a coincidence.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
What a mutual admiration.
Officials at the Israel Nature and Parks Authority had previously argued that crocodiles should only be kept for education and research. The Environment Ministry
Palestinians a lesson.
Yeah. The Environmental Ministry's legal advisor, Netta Dore, also opposed the plan, saying it lacked a sufficient legal and professional basis. I'm just saying, I just don't feel like the leaders of the Israel government are real concerned about staying within the confines of law, be it international or domestic in their case.
When they all protested in favor of prisoner rape by guards?
Exactly. Hey, the law says we can't rape people. Well, screw the law then. But rape them anyway.
The crocodile thing instead of that, actually.
Yeah. So, I mean,
crocodile guards that are not going to bother me if I don't go in their area,
Well, you got to understand something. You are the chosen people, and God wants you to rape people. You got to have a torture chamber. I mean, what kind of a godly, beloved, chosen person are you without a torture chamber, right? And then, of course, you got to feed people to the crocs. This, I guarantee you hit the nail on the head. They're going to feed people to the crocs.
Yeah, it sounds like Saddam Hussein shit. We had to overthrow Saddam Hussein for this shit. This is the kind of shit they're like, rape rooms and crocodile. He feeds them this. This is all Saddam Hussein stuff. All of this. It's amazing.
You know what it is?
I bet Saddam wasn't even as bad as them.
I guarantee. You know what it is? It's all the propaganda and the lies we make up to like invade a country. We say like things like, yes, Gaddafi's a terrible guy. He's giving people free education. I mean, what he's doing is he's feeding people to the crocodile. All of the crap that we make up to invade it, to demonize the leader of a country. Where do you think we get the ideas from?
Yeah, right.
So there we go. Feed people to the crocs. Let us continue. The IPS argued its staff could handle crocodiles because of their experience working with attack dogs. Boy, are they going to get a surprise. Go ahead and pet him a little bit. Hey, bring him over here and pet him. And by the way, if he doesn't do what you want, hit him on the snoot with a newspaper. That'll work out fine. The IPS does not appear to have expertise in raising dangerous wild animals such as crocodiles. Oh, they're going to get some. You start messing with crocodiles, you will get experience. But ain't going to do you no good. She wrote, concluding that the legal requirements for the declaration had not been met. Despite that opinion, Soman approved the measure this week. I don't understand this article. You can't talk about the Israelis and use the word legal requirement.
No, not on international law, their own law. They'll tell you. I mean, I've heard maniacs tell you how lawful they are, and they're leaving out the thing that they're not considering international any law except one they made up themselves within Israel. I doubt they even follow their own fucking law, to be honest with you.
No. Well, look what they did. The law said they couldn't do this with crocodiles. And in fact, like their legal advisor says, we can't do that. That would be illegal. And they said, oh, really? So it's a violation of our own law? Yeah. We do it anyway. Who cares?
Yeah, it's like sharks with lasers on their heads. They're in Wacky Town now out there. I don't know, man. It's going to get worse because that guy goes to jail the second all this madness stops. So,
and as crazy as that sounds, it sounds like madness. It sounds like insanity until you realize this. They literally got the idea from us. As crazy as it sounds.
Did we say to have an alligator moat prison?
Alligator. Well, the whole alligator Alcatraz thing where we had some prison out in the wild or something where there was alligators around.
Right.
It.
But even that was just that it's in the wilds. And it's not that they're going to be responsible for maintaining a population of crocodiles as like guards. It was a natural, they built it in a place where there are alligators. Do you know what I mean? Like that's a little different.
And there's been a couple movies with Papillon or something. There's been movies about these prisons that were out
Devil's Island,
where sharks, where you couldn't swim the shore because there were sharks. So there is a history of putting prisons where the dangerous wild animals are. But there ain't much of a history of putting the dangerous wild animals where the prisons are.
That's why this is different, is because you're bringing them here. You essentially have a zoo, like a terror zoo now that you have to maintain.
And by the way, when the prisoners die because they've been tortured or beaten or whatever, and you need to dispose of the body, unlike the Epstein Island, you won't have to bring in truckloads of sulfuric acid to melt the bodies of children. In this instance, Palestinian children, heave them right out into the moat. They get mangled. You might find some ripped up clothes or something. You can just, like you're cleaning a pool with the thing, you can just have a net and swipe the clothes up every now and then, and the bodies are disposed of, and the crocodiles are. That looks like the direction they're going here in that madhouse.
Buddhist meditation, chuck some prisoners into a croc pond, and
there you go. Ben Gavir celebrated the decision on Facebook like you do. They throw me off Facebook. If I did anything that he did, anything that he says, hey, they killed somebody. Yeah. I literally got suspended from X last week.
Why?
Lindsey Graham died. And I put out a tweet and it said, Lindsey Graham is dead. This is what it said. The sky is bluer. Food tastes better. Everything is better today. Lindsey Graham is dead.
You go right to Camp Crocodile for that kind of talk.
Hate speech. I can show it to you. Literally, I did a video about it on my YouTube. It said hate speech, and it said that I could be thrown off of X if I continued that kind of hate speech.
Oh, good. I'm so glad Elon got his mind right with trip to Auschwitz with Ben Shapiro, and it turned him all right around.
Yeah, it's nothing like it was when Jack Dorsey was there. So now, but meanwhile, I saw other tweets that said, Lindsey Graham's dead. I hate that bastard. I hope he rots in hell. That wasn't hate speech. But if I just say he's dead, I almost feel like they were targeting me.
I would say it's an almost certainty that you were being targeted specifically, actually.
Since after this show, it ain't going to get no better. Since the genocide in Gaza.
His association won't help you. You crocodile bait down.
Yo, that's right. Oh, that's right. Oh boy, he's hanging out with that Kurt Metzger guy, huh? Is he? Hey, we got something for him. We're going crocodile hunting. Since the genocide in Gaza began in October 2023, Ben-Gvir has overseen a sharp deterioration in conditions for Palestinians held in Israeli prisons, including torture, starvation, and degradation. Certainly, that's exactly but wait a minute. I don't think that was a deterioration. I kind of think, historically, that's what the hell they've been doing since 1948. Torture, starvation, degradation.
It's fucking crazy. Well, whatever. Sooner or later, you can't hide a crime of this magnitude forever. You can do it for a while, though.
Yeah.
And you can ruin America's economy while you get away with it. And then once everything comes out, they'll just be all smoking ruins. Everybody be fighting each other. I'm guessing that's the plan, right?
Absolutely. Human rights organizations have accused Israel of widespread abuses and described some detention facilities as torture camps. Or I would put it like this: they've described some of the torture camps as detention facilities. It's more like it. Silman's decision drew opposition from the Israeli Nature and Parks Authority and environmental groups, which argued the move is unlawful and puts both crocodiles and the public at risk. This is how bad Israel is now. They're going to feed the Palestinians to the crocodile. And the Nature and Parks Authority come out in favor of the crocodiles. Hey, you put these damn crocodiles at risk, man. I mean, come on. They're going to have to eat Palestinians. They're going to have to chew them up. Some of them could have, I don't know, a parasite. These poor crocodiles will get explosive diarrhea if they get these parasites. We got to save them. How about that?
There's a comic here, Hassan, who was talking about that exploit. He goes, is there any other kind of diarrhea? I had a nice relaxing diarrhea earlier.
Yeah. The INPA
There's only one kind.
The INPA said there was no sufficient professional basis to permit crocodiles to be kept at security facilities. So luckily, these really nice people in Israel, the liberals who are the Nature Parks Authority and all of these places came out and said, you can't do this. Why? We stand for the crocodiles. You have to find another way to torture and kill people. But crocodiles, you're just, you're torturing and raping. But
imagination with other crazy animal.
Exactly.
You have ants or something out there?
Yeah. Yeah, we're putting these poor crocodiles in a position while that's stepping over the line here, Kurt. So let's see, is there anything else? In a joint statement, several environmental organizations said they strongly object to the use of animals as a means of guarding and deterrence. They ain't going to be the guarding and deterrence. They're going to eat people. Crocodiles are sentient beings with complex needs for space, water temperature, and natural behavior. They don't care about the Palestinians that they're feeding to. They're all like, you're going to do this to these poor dear little crocodiles. Oh, God.
Well, I thought it sounded odd off the top because they're animals. They're not just going to. I thought these were the AI robot people over there that they had all the tech to not have to use live crocodile. Do you see what it said, though? Because in the winter, they become very sluggish.
Yes.
It turns out because they're reptiles. That's what I said at the top. Like, how would you... That's not going to be it's just bad for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. But their only concern is the crocodiles, not the people that are getting fed to the crocodiles. They're shedding, dare I use this term, crocodile tears over the crocodiles.
Well, there's a chance that we can save the crocodiles. There's a hope of possibly stopping the murder of the crocodiles. There is none of stopping this. They're going to do what they're going to do, and they're going to make sure World War III happens. And they're going to push it until every punk-ass country around there, I guess, is like enough. It can't all be the Houthis pulling the weight, can it? I guess it is.
Now we have this clip from New World Next Week.
Welcome back to New World Next Week. I'm James Corbett of CorbettReport.com.
And I'm James Evan Pilato of MediaMonarchy.com. This will ensure that should the worst ever happen, we'll always be ready. You can believe a statement like that. We've got that story. Plus, oi, where's your TV license, mate? But first, really, I think the story of the summer. Data center opponents stage 142 protests across 42 U.S. states. Grabbing this from Reuters, opponents of the rapid build-out of data centers held 142 protests across 42 states last Saturday in the first nationwide effort to channel anger at the AI infrastructure expansion that has ramped up over the past year and roiled local politics. The protests, coordinated by Humans First, co-founded by a former leader of the modern-day Tea Party, so maybe they've got a bit of that Ron Paul spirit, hopefully. She compares growing opposition to data centers to the right-wing populist movement that emerged in 2009, all because of Ron Paul, and it was the mutation offshoot of that, to protest what it saw as excessive taxation and government overreach, because Obama was bad then. Protesters rallied. Did they rail or did they rally? Protesters rallied against what Human First calls the unaccountable build-out of data centers and unacceptable infringement on our liberty in Fredericksburg, Virginia. That's East Virginia. One young man carried a sign reading, "We thrive on water, not data." In Atlanta, a small knot of protesters wielded signs reading, "Georgia never voted for hyperscale AI data centers." Nationwide and city-specific counts of protesters not immediately available, said Chris Barron, president at Right Turn Strategies, who is handling press relations for Humans First. Probably shouldn't have the word right in your title. Attendance was lower than expected in some rural areas in major cities such as Atlanta, talking to, again, Reuters. And I would say, James, to just note of it, it's pretty hot here in the States. And so lots of things. I mean, baseball games have been delayed or postponed, not only because of all the wildfire smoke coming from Canada, but just because of pretty brutal summer weather here. So I imagine that had to play at least some part in it. Also, maybe people just didn't know about it. I'll admit I didn't know anything about it. I had to learn about it from my friend and colleague in Japan. Humans First praised the efforts, however, of community activists. "We were thrilled with the turnout," Barron said. "Data center opposition is among the few issues uniting Americans across ideological lines, with just a third of Americans approving of the pace of data center construction in the U.S., according to a June Reuters Ipsos poll. 14% of respondents would support a data center being built in their backyard to support artificial intelligence products. And again, this is kind of the part that gets me, James. And here's, we're on the computers talking about the AI data centers to support artificial intelligence products for technology firms such as every freaking thing everybody uses. Meta, Alphabet, Amazon, Microsoft, and of course, Elon's XAI. The data center industry is continuing to work with policymakers, stakeholders, and residents to ensure data centers strengthen, not strain, the areas where they operate, while mitigating any negative impacts to households and businesses, said Josh Levy, president of the Data Center Coalition, the industry's association and a lobbying group. The related question: is China sabotaging America's data centers? And I have a lot of data center coverage actually on my Morning Monarchy this week. That was pretty much on my Cyberspace War Tech Tuesday Morning Monarchy. Trump says he'll fast-track private gas plants to power AI data centers. The Gov using eminent domain to seize all kinds of people's properties. Oh, sorry, that's your family home for 200 years, but we're going to take it. And I actually tried to dig into a little bit just to see, are Democrat or Republican states embracing or pushing back against this more or less? And really, maybe most galling in the video, like everything we say and play, will always be included in the show notes so you can continue the research for yourself. In a hearing where town residents grilled officials on data centers, a resident of Tyrone Township, Michigan, asked a simple question: have you guys on the city council signed a non-disclosure agreement with any party regarding developments that could affect the town? First guy said no. Second guy said no. It went real downhill after that as they started to fight with each other. And you can hear they know each other. These are people not from giant metropolises like, oh, Jessica, you're not going to lie to me this time? But I would say the highlight of some of my recent data center pushback coverage: West Virginia man accused of destroying flock cameras goes viral. Tons of comments on, of course, because the police have to make a post about it on their social media page. It went big time. That's not him. He was with me. Oh, that couldn't be the guy. We were doing this thing that was good for the community. I'm Spartacus. No, I'm Spartacus. James, I think this could be the story of the summer. I would argue it would be the story of the year if, Dingus didn't start World War III for Israel.
All right. Yeah. That whole thing. Yeah. No, you're right. There is definitely something catching on here. And here's the real question, James. Is this an unmitigated good news story? Could it be? Are we seeing something that is unmitigated good news? We are seeing Finally, people rising up, people getting angry, people taking the Spartacus approach. I'm Spartacus. I'm the man who cut down that camera. No, I'm the man. Yes, that's a good thing, right? And still, the spidey sense in the back of my head says something. But before I get into that, I should just say up front, I am, of course, happy that people are concerned, aware, informed, concerned, and taking action. Those are good things, and I will continue to encourage that. So once again, just like last week, I will tell people about Reclaim Our Future, the National Day of Action on AI Data Centers taking place August 1st. More information, reclaimfuture.com. But having said that, yeah, the real question in my mind is these automated license plate readers have been around for decades at this point. I mean, we've been talking about technology like that for a very long time. Why is it Flock in particular that is now the central point and focus of all this rage? And why is the AI data center protest, why is it catching on? Why is it being spread and talked about in the media? And Tea Party member, is that like the original, like Ron Paul Tea Party? Or is that the co-opt corrupted GOP run Tea Party of like 2009 and onwards that became the left-right shenanigans? So it really does. I mean, I hate to all do this and question every single good news story that ever presents itself, but I think we have to be aware and realistic that these sorts of things don't just gain traction in the controlled establishment media and get put in front of us in that venue unless there's a reason behind it. And I think there may be a type of dialectic pincher movement going on that is presented in that, oh my God, it's the Chinese who are secretly funding this data center protest, right? And we're going to need to bring in the whatever, ICE or whoever to deal with it, right, guys? And you will note that the thoroughly risible Kevin O'Leary, who I didn't even know about. I don't watch TV. I'm not plugged into pop culture. I don't know this guy, but I've just seen him because of this data center stuff in the past several months. And his number one thing is it's China is funding all the opposition to these data centers. Who could possibly be against a data center in Utah except the Chinese, I tell you? Well, now that's being amplified. So is there some sort of dialectic being pushed here? Anyway, I don't want to overthink it because, of course, that just plays into the establishment's hands. You can't do anything. Oh, resistance is actually part of supporting the system. So don't do that, guys. No, support the National Day of Action. Obviously, we should be against the data centers. We should be against the flock cameras and all of it. But also, let's be wary of what kind of direction the narrative is being steered in here and whether, we ultimately can set the narrative again. We do not need this establishment media to report on this stuff for us.
James, I've been playing chess a lot the last year or so, trying to teach myself to play chess. And one of the favorite things I do, you can find me as Monarchy on the chess app. There'll be games and it just throws you into the middle of a game you didn't play to just show like what move would you make right now in the middle of this game. And I think that's it. It helps you think ahead, plan ahead. Because you've got 3 moves ahead that you wonder if your opponent, oh man, they goaded me into doing that so they could get me over there. I didn't see it at the time. But yeah, don't use Chinese TikTok. Use American TikTok. Don't use Chi-Com Spy Tech. Use our American Spy Tech. James, just sort of formulating the idea as you were there talking about it. Where did all of this come from? How did this get all as big as it did? One part that just struck me, it didn't have a name. They were called Alpers. The ALPRs, the automated license plate readers. Okay, that's an okay acronym, but now it's Flock. It's got a brand corporate name that, like some kind of tar baby, can take all the heat, all the hate, all the stuff. We'll smash it. Oh, good. We got rid of all those Flock cameras, which is just a brand name version for New World Order surveillance. So just like they change out presidents, the agenda still rolls on. So that would maybe be a part I would look at as Flock as sort of the, we'll lead the parade and, oh, I took all your slings and arrows so they can bring in the next thing. Well, it's between 600 and 750 days since the event, but that hasn't stopped those of us that survived from enjoying ourselves. Britain to stage its biggest ever war simulation to ensure the whole country is ready Grabbing this from gbnews.com. Britain is to stage its biggest ever war simulation. Terror drills, war games, we would call these 20 years ago in 9/11 Truth. Britain is to stage its biggest ever war simulation to ensure the whole country is ready in case of an attack. The aim of the simulation is to prepare the country for war. Alongside the sim will be a public campaign to raise awareness about the importance of protecting the nation. Darren Jones, Chief Secretary to the outgoing Sir Keir Starmer, said this will ensure that should the worst happen, we will always be ready. Citation needed. In a statement published today, Mr. Jones outlined various government initiatives as part of their commitment to update Parliament with an annual overview of the UK's resilience. Among the initiatives was the simulation, totally planned for next year, you guys. Don't get all excited that the simulation started early, where the government would simulate a hybrid conflict with a foreign adversary. Involved in the simulation, even though, of course, as we know, the tyranny will come from within, as it always does. Involved in the simulation will be hundreds of officials from across government departments as well as ministers named Operation Albiston Shadow. And I ran a search on Albiston, and all I can find is it seems like it's a famous Brit last name. The exercise will test the government's preparedness for attacks against the UK, which will complement NATO's similar exercise with the catchy title of CMX-27. This comes as there are growing concerns of a Russian attack on a NATO country as its military regularly breaches the alliance's airspace. Russia's the only one that defies international dictates. Mr. Jones told MPs there would also be a national resilience public awareness campaign. This is where I get more interested in the sort of propaganda media part of it. Its aim, he said, is to help people understand simple measures they can take ahead of potential disruption. I'm sure, hiding under a small wooden desk will probably do all you need. Among the risks cited, of course, a cyber attack capable of knocking out power, water, phone signal, or access to local food shops. I'm sure the data centers and flock cameras will all be okay. Officials told The Telegraph schools and colleges would also receive new guidance on teaching children, all the children at college, how to stay safe during emergencies. James, keep calm, carry on, and remain indoors.
Exactly right. The event. I was just thinking about that skit for a couple days ago, but not in connection to this. But yeah, maybe. This seems like a bread and butter kind of New World Next Week story that we could have been doing at any point in the past 20 years, right? Like, I did not look this up beforehand, but I'm going to go off the top of my head. It was Jade Helm, right? That was the one about a decade ago that was going to be the FEMA internment camps, and they're going to flip it live, guys, and all that. Remember, we've lived through several of these freakouts, and for good reason, because we do know that there is often an overlap between terror drills and terror events. It's just that they do terror drills 8,000 times a year. And the one that they flip live is the one that, becomes the false flag event. So you can't necessarily say that it's going to flip live or be preparation for something. But at the very least, I think this shows us directionally where the UK government is going. And of course, this is not about, oh my God, what if the Ruskies come? This is always about domestic control and control of the domestic population. So I've already seen the speculation in the UK parts of the independent media that this is really about some sort of domestic insurrection that they're preparing for, and how will they, put the lid on it when time comes. Yeah, fair enough. At the very least, that's something that no doubt the deep staters in the British establishment are thinking about right now. So fair enough. This is all part and parcel of that, and part and parcel of the keeping everyone in mortal fear at all times. They've got a full year to blast all of this indirect propaganda. Hey guys, we're not telling you that, there's going to be horrible things. We're just saying we're getting prepared for horrible things that you might face in the event of whatever happens. So it's, again, people should have their heads screwed on straight, know what this is, be aware that these types of things can, of course, be flipped live and operationalized in various ways, but not necessarily. It could just be part of the gradually boiling water that is boiling the frogs. And the point, as always, is to remind people that in the event of any real emergency or genuine crisis, it ain't the government that's going to be there to help. You're not looking to the men in the uniforms with the guns to, oh, please restore order. That's probably not the right way to do it. So, I'm just thinking of this off the top of my head, but we should probably, in the reality-based community, have, drills and preparation for what if the government does something? And, maybe we can make a fancy title out of that. I guess Albiston's already taken, but we'll find another snooty Snodgrass kind of name.
Have contact information with the people you know, with the people you love, with the people you would definitely want to hook back up with if some catastrophic catalyzing event happens. Their phone number, their address. Nothing on the computer at all. I mean, as I've seen the memes lately say, this is only going to end when people start doing things they can't post about on the internet. I also always say media monarchies for entertainment purposes only. I didn't say that. What? Our 2 stories so far. It is psychological warfare. It's wait, are they gonna... They're trying to goad us into moves. So don't be a dummy and try and come out of the corner and do some flying leg kick and you break your knee and then the whole fight's over. But remember, Bush was going to suspend the election in 2008. I heard old classic 2007 Monarchy that I was playing recently on MediaMonarchy.com/listen. Old articles. Oh, well, you got to worry. I mean, we're just assuming there's going to be a 2008 election. Obama was going to suspend the election in 2012. Again, they rope-a-dope us with all of these things constantly, and I think it has to take into account that they know that we know about war games and flipping terror drills live. So it's just bury them in war simulations. Just bury their needle in haystacks, and they'll never know really what they're doing. As the popular saying goes, if they can get you asking the wrong questions, it doesn't matter what the answer is. And I will include the link to BBC Comedy, That Mitchell and Webb Look, a sketch comedy show that had a recurring sketch about the event, and it was some undescribed apocalyptic event, but they kept on and had a game show, which of course I can appreciate. And yeah, James, you just said it, domestic control. It's been hitting me lately, as we knew. They tested all of this out in the Middle East. All the weapons, all the sound wave cannons, all the agitprop, all the psych warfare, and hell, if we got a, stack of naked pyramids, we've tested all that out as well. So I said the Beeb, and that'll take us to our third and final story on this New World Next Week, episode 638. BBC, this is, we'll put even more bread on the New World Next Week butter here. BBC loses 500,000 license fee payers in a year of scandals. It's probably because they misspell license. Bad news about the BBC from The Telegraph. The number of people paying the license fee has fallen by more than 500,000 in a year of scandals at the British Broadcasting Corporation. The BBC's annual report shows that 23.3 million TV licenses were bought in the past year, a decrease of 539,000 compared to the previous 12 months. It follows a year in which the BBC was hit by a series of scandals. James, I feel like we covered some of these on New World Next Week. In October, The Telegraph, again, just, busting on the BBC. You gotta kick them when they're down to get your space in the news sphere. The Telegraph revealed that a speech by DJ Trump had been doctored in a Panorama episode. We definitely covered this, giving the impression that the U.S. president encouraged supporters to storm the Capitol building in 2021 when, of course, it was undercovers like Ray Epps. An internal BBC review. And again, even AJ on the bullhorn, you've seen the videos don't do this. Don't go in. This is a trap. It's a trap. An internal BBC review of the documentary Gaza, How to Survive a War Zone, concluded that it had breached editorial guidelines on accuracy by failing to disclose the information about the position of the child narrative's father in the Hamas-run government. Like the incubator baby story. The scandals led to the resignations of Tim Davie as Director General and Deborah Turnus as Chief Executive of BBC News. The fall in license fee payers is the highest annual drop since the COVID pandemic, when numbers fell by 738,000. James, I would think more people would have been watching TV. That's an interesting note to put a pin in. It means the number of people paying is the lowest since 1999. Since the beginning of the decade, the number of license fees in force has fallen by 2.7 million. The BBC report finds that income from the license fee, which stands at £180 per household, remains insufficient to sustain a universal public service. And as I often say, if you don't do enough business to run your business, you might not should be in business. Matt Britton, the BBC's Brittin. The BBC's new Director General said the decline had contributed to the financial challenge facing the corporation. However, thanks to the rising cost of the license fee, because everything costs more for less, the BBC collected £388 million from it in the most recent financial year, representing an increase of £36 million on the previous year. The report also dates the income of the BBC's highest paid stars, James, and I don't know who any of these people are. I, of course, fantasize about being a highly paid $500,000 a year radio DJ, and they rattle off all these dudes' names who I didn't know, and I had to look it up because I was like, what about Zane Lowe? He left BBC One in March 2015 after 12 years with the station to go to Apple in Los Angeles. And as our buddy Ray Vahi, co-creator of BitChute, said, this is how I heard about this story. 500,000 Brits just ditched the BBC license fee, biggest drop in years as trust collapses. Yet the government's response? Force feed more BBC trusted content on YouTube and TikTok via algorithm boost to fight misinformation. But people are voting with their wallets. You can't regulate your way back to relevance. James, I think another classic New World Next Week kind of story.
It is, isn't it? And okay, I have British ancestry, but I'm not exactly, I don't have my finger on the pulse of British society. I was there a couple of years ago for the Better Way conference, but I don't claim to know exactly what is going on in the mind of the average Brit. But isn't it interesting? Like, really? These scandals from the past year have resulted in this mass turning away from the BBC? I feel like there must be something else going on here other than what we're being told, because it just doesn't seem, after everything of the past few decades, let alone COVID and all of that crap, if that wasn't enough to get people to stop paying their license fees, what would be? Why? Because of some documentary that no one watched? I don't know. Anyway, it's a good thing. I agree. Again, it's a good thing. It's just, something doesn't quite add up to me. But then again, not only do I not have my finger on the pulse of, British society, but also the Brits that I tend to interact with, other than people that I'm directly related to, tend to be people who read the Light newspaper, or people who go to the Better Way conference, or people who are generally clued in and probably not paying their BBC license fee anyway. So maybe I have a self-selected group that I'm judging from. But I'd be interested to hear from people in the UK in the audience, if they're seeing this, if they're feeling this, if there really is some sort of actual protest against the BBC going on now, after this, not after Jimmy Savile, not after COVID, not after all that crap. No, after this. I don't know. Again, I'm not questioning it. I'm not questioning it. If it's happening, that's good. I'm just saying it just seems odd to me.
James, I mostly just know, British bands and things. Someone actually, they send me copies of the Light newspaper to right here in El Rito, New Mexico, and a huge thanks to them. James, it really has, like a lot of things, hit me recently. Trump is the cudgel, destroying everything that has been set up. Again, a lot of things maybe need to be destroyed, but it's made people, as we've discussed for the last decade, I hate Trump so much, I'm going to shoot myself in the foot. People losing their mind over all of this one dude. It's all been focused on, like this celebrity star kind of guy. James, in the past, you have, I believe, expressed disbelief in the BBC TV detector vans story, which again, as far as tech and media go, is pretty fascinating to me. I saw several months back, really great half-hour documentary from Ringway, Manchester, how TV detector vans know if you have a TV in your house. And that's what connects to this whole BBC TV license boondoggle. It was pretty good, and it has a lot of footage of what appear to be pretty real TV detector vans. I don't know, it convinced me, but I was also convinced by the new 10/7 conspiracy theory video from the guy that brought you the classic 9/11 conspiracy theory, James. I was very excited to see that you published that today, and I will remember and remind folks that we run newworldnextweek.com, and that's where you can support our work. You can't buy Charlatans t-shirts there, but you can buy Media Monarchy t-shirts. You can buy Korber Report t-shirts. You can buy some DVDs. But as Cassie and I were talking about this, everything is off the rails expensive. I don't know if you've seen, James, people basically saying, love your work, been a supporter for a long time. I can't afford to do this anymore. I got to put food on the table. shipping costs, taxes just to run the New World Next Week store. So here's a good little reminder for your summer. Think of it maybe as summer school. We have downloads of all the Corbett classes on newworldnextweek.com. Doesn't have to pay a postman. Not the postman shouldn't be paid. But it is a direct, easy, quick thing that we don't have to involve international taxes and VAT and all that stuff. I also have 24-hour-long DJ compilations. So both of those, I would say, downloads for folks to hit up on newworldnextweek.com can support our work, but also maybe not support all just the awfulness that is piling up around everyone. On a good note, I play the exclusive audio of these New World Next Week episodes on my Radio Monarchy. That is at MediaMonarchy.com/listen. James, 638, man.
Yes, exactly right. And I hope people do look into the downloads at the New World Next Week store. I think people forget they exist sometimes, but you should remember them. But having said that, it is the summer, and I think a lot of people are probably heading off to the beach and other such recreational activities. And good on you, because you don't need to listen to doom and gloom every single day of your life. So do take some time for rest, relaxation. Speaking of which, the Corbett clan will be doing that. Nothing major, just some minor road trips here in Japan. So we will not be here for New World Next Week. So we'll be taking next week off. But I believe we might be on in 2 weeks. Maybe James and I will discuss that.
We might discuss that. I do have a birthday that always rolls up around the beginning of August, and I would put forth to folks as well. I would argue that Monarchy Radio is not doom and gloom all the time. I believe I am a world-class 30-plus year radio DJ professional. I can play music like I can cue up news stories. I call it a newsical. So, James, again, I would remind and just implore folks to go check out the Monarchy Radio at MediaMonarchy.com/listen. Buddy, appreciate you, man.
Awesome. Let's leave it there and talk to you when I talk to you. Happy summer.
All right. Take care.
Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna dance now. Fuck this shit. 'Cause we don't have a chance now. The whole world is fucking gone to hell. Makes me wanna fucking scream and yell. Fuck this shit. I'm just gonna dance now. Fuck this shit. 'Cause we don't have a chance now.
Guys, all rock. Thank you for being here and hanging out and being a part of the show. We do love the hell out of you, and we can't do the damn thing without you. It's a value for value gig here. If you're new here, you're kind of, just getting into the thing. This is how the show works. Every time you see not only AM Wake Up, but every other show that airs on the channels, all of that content comes to you for free. Nothing is ever going to be put behind a paywall. There's no subscribe to this to get that. You don't have to learn a secret handshake. We get $0 from advertisers. We get $0 from paid sponsors. That's why you don't hear 10 or 12 minutes of ad reads and shit at the beginning of the show or throughout it, because it doesn't exist in this environment. Instead, if you guys see value in what we're doing, you like the conversations, you like the guests, you like the jokes, whatever it is. If you see value in that, send it this way, and that's how we get to do the thing. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can participate. There's a couple of things that we definitely need to see from you guys. Most importantly, time, talent, and treasure. Time and talent, because it's just me doing all of the things 7 days a week in order to make sure that you guys see this stuff and I participate and hit the fucking like button. It's not going to break your wrist. I promise. On the talent end, if you make clips, please do that and get them out there. I don't care if 3 people are going to see it. If you tag us, we'll retweet it too, and then 3 more people are going to see it. The way that we're buried in the algorithm. But it helps. Every little bit helps. Exact same philosophy applies to the treasure part. Every little bit helps. If you're at all in a position to contribute to independent media, all of the direct donate links, including Bitcoin, are in the description. So if you have, 55 Bitcoin and you want to give the show 1, it's going to get dispersed to at least 5 other content creators that day.
Kind of a fucking ass clown wouldn't have the heart and compassion to donate to baby Steve. Now, let's take a look at some highlights from AM Wake Up from this week. Make sure to support and share their show to keep this great channel going. Share the show. Share the show. Share the show.
Share the fucking show.
No, but I mean, it's a fair point. I think the disillusionment with that though is growing on the daily.
Yep.
And I've been holding on to this particular clip for I guess just this actual exact
deep state one. I haven't even watched this all the way through.
I'll just run it.
Water's got high levels of bacteria. Drinking water in a lot of areas isn't safe. That's not going to get better. RFK and Cheryl, I mean, did you see this? He's like fighting a yak. This was the guy who was going to try to help the food. The food's as bad as it's ever been. That was all fake, by the way. He was going to look into all of the vaccines and the food. He didn't do any of that. It's fake. So he's like on some summer vacation with Cheryl and some yak. He's just like on his Instagram. So I'm like, he's like, we did a 10-mile hike up the mountain and I saw a yak. And then I pushed the yak with my phone and it ran away. And you're like, hey, man, weren't you supposed to, like, I don't know, like, ban the big gulp or something? They've done nothing. But all they could do is just move us to European standards on the food. They've done none of that because the corporations, Trump's a junk food addict. It's the junk food presidency. And all the people that own the big food conglomerates, they're like, well, no, you're not banning shit. They banned one dye. This one red dye.
They didn't, though. As far as
so none of it's getting fixed. And the tech people are basically like, we just have to get out of here because, yeah, here we are. This is the Health and Human Services Secretary. This is the guy who's going to fix the food.
Sure.
Should we get inside this thing?
Maybe you should get inside the cage. Yeah, it's dangerous. Come on, honey. Get up on the other side of that stone. Get on the other side of this stone wall.
He's fighting a yak. All right, get him out of here. So that's now what our country has become. Our country now, he's doing content. The Secretary of Health and Human Services is now doing content on social media with wild animals. He's now become some weird version of the crocodile hunter. He's now like, he's the Steve Irwin that we deserve. You know what I mean? It's like, it's so that's what it is.
It's funny.
I mean,
you always have to remember that he is in some way always doing a bit. You know what I mean? But it's based on you know, actual commentary, which is kind of the new, for a while now, angle of comedy, you know, like the comedy news overview. But there's so many points to, that's always why I want to jump in, because now I'm like, what was that first point he made that I wanted to comment on? but you know, it's generally speaking, this is what you and I have been talking about for a very long time. You know, the reason he's making these points, even with a almost more so because of the joking lens over it. Every fucking body knows this. Everybody. You know, and I'm being facetious, right? I'm sure there's that guy over there that never pays attention, or the fucking group that doesn't want to see it. But the point is, the vast majority is very, very, very aware that we have been here. You know, I don't need to keep doing it. But, you know, it's funny because it's interesting how much people like us will be like, well, we were there, and they're like, you guys just can't stop praising. You know, you want to take credit or whatever. Like they like make you feel bad for caring that you were right about something. But what's funny is, as that happens, we also can point out, but nobody ever even fucking acknowledged that we were right about that thing. You know, it's like this cycle, and it's like I really don't care about being right in the sense of like taking credit. As much as people will claim otherwise, we all do to a degree. It's about the idea that being right about these things gains some level of consistency, some momentum that average people who don't consistently follow you can go, oh, you know, they come across you and they don't look at the Wikipedia, you're a conspiracy theorist, ignore this person's page. They might go, oh shit, this person's been consistently correct about things that everyone denied over and over and over. Average people will be like, fuck yeah, it's like you know, that's what people want. And so the point about this is to go back in the beginning of this, or any number of things that IMA, lots of other people in this field that just don't get attention for it have been wildly correct about things just in the last so many years, but well before that too. And this one I think is, I mean, paradigm shifting, right? I mean, really look at where we are with the MAGA point, whether it's about who is MAGA or not. It's not even about that. I still think I'm right about that. But the point is that the majority of people very early in this administration, and it's been getting more and more clearly, were in like COVID shots forward. You know what I mean? Fucking Stargate. Any of these things were like, what the fuck, man? The entire Maha movement, I think, was split immediately. And then very quickly, because these people wanted what was promised, I know that's crazy, eventually started going, okay, Jesus, these people are either not able to, even though they want to, or never cared in the first place. We are long past that. My close people in my life around me, like I keep mentioning, are like willing to fucking go to war for Trump. Like not, like in a regular sense, are now like, I will never, ever, ever. The guy's laughable. And every single person he's ever known that was like Trump flags are like, fuck that guy. I'm just telling you, it's weird how in this community, we almost get more pushback than anywhere else right now about whether or not people are against, it's wild because the majority of people, whether they supported him or not on his side, are no longer on his side. We have an opening. Sorry, go ahead. It's just,
I think the reason that we get the brunt of the pushback is because we were out there talking about it in everybody's face in real time,
as usual,
throughout the entire, first, second, and now third term.
Well, to be clear, we weren't saying we were like, we fucking absolutely know. We're it's an evolution of awareness. We go, okay, this is what I think. Here's what my gut tells me based on the things I'm seeing. And then you go further and you go, okay, well, geez, like early, not early, actually, way before that we were on this, but then like maybe, halfway into it, once it became clear that this was an opportunistic moment, in my opinion, anyway, Tucker and Dave Smith and plenty of others were like, oh, okay, and who's know if they're honest or not about it. But that's a huge sign. And we were like, Jesus, Tucker Carlson is turning on him. Like, that's crazy. And oh, no, he's just a shill or whatever. And then it just becomes more and more and more clear. And it's just like you get to this point to where it's like, okay, I still don't know. I still not going to argue that I can prove it. But are we just all like, at the very least, acknowledge that even amongst the mainstream now, it's like a collective acknowledgement that things are shifting in a way that they have to kind of react to. I'm telling you, the only reason I bring this up so frequently is it's a moment for us to do something about it. Americans, if you ever had wanted an opportunity to actually, formulate the direction of this government, this country in a way that would benefit you, it's more open than I've seen. Let's just even say it's not, maybe it's not even in the cards. I'd like to get away from government in general, but if there's ever going to be an opening, it's what we're looking at. The people are rapidly becoming aware that either side of our government are not on our side. We can recognize that foreign powers, foreign corporations, it's just, we are being completely broken down. We see that. Now we could stand back and bitch at each other about it. We could allow this thing to crumble around us, or we could actually try to grab what we think is beneficial and try to guide this in direction away from all of that. Again, maybe that's not possible, but why are we just going to let it happen around us and let the screaming jackals out there who actually don't care about any of the things you think you care about yell us into a certain direction? Elon Musk and fucking Benny Johnson and all these people, left and right, by the way. I could have gone down the same list during COVID-19 on the left. And even right now, still, to be honest, but it's the teeter-totter,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's funny that you specifically mention old Davy Smith there, because just last night I was getting ready to, wind down, was kind of scrolling a little bit. And this pops up from one of the Liberty meme accounts or something like that on Instagram. And I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. There's
you have a special hatred for Dave Smith.
No, not really, man. It's not even like that. Huh?
I'm kind of half kidding. I mean, what's funny is there are people in this community. I mean, look, we both agree. We should be questioning all of them, and we want you all to question us as well. You just don't know, guys. That's the point. The best people in the manipulation field, you'll never suspect, right? But the point is there's a scale. And like I always point out, there are people that, I would argue aren't even aware that they're being manipulated. And that in my mind would at least make them good intentioned, even if they're wrong about that, what they think they're doing matters to me, right? Even if they are ultimately playing a game that's manipulating. But there's more of it. There's people that are like unconsciously aware but choose not to look, right? There's a whole scale. And so where they fall on that, I don't know. And I would simply point to people like a Dave Smith on a lower end of the concern for me, because they do work that I think does in many ways call good attention to things. You know, like for example, like let's just take before you get into your point really quickly, like an opportunist. Someone like, let's just hype the sake of conversation. And I don't sense this is the case, to be honest, but like a Dave Smith as an opportunist, somebody who goes, okay, I don't care about what's right or wrong. I just want to jump on this point so I can gain from it now that I see people starting to gravitate towards it and look like I'm ahead of the story. Now, the point is, he's still making a point that's accurate and that we would still promote. But the question is he had good intentions before, you know, as he does that? I argue that, even though it matters, is a lesser concern to me than a fucking Alex Jones or somebody else who I see doing wildly more manipulative content. That's all I want to say. Not to say that I'm siding with anybody or that I don't know. That's my point. But I just think that there's people that, and that's what I'm joking about, is that I feel like there's something about him that just catches your attention. And I always laugh about that. But we should
okay. I mean, I've talked about this. I watched, listened to the Legion of Skanks podcast for a long time. You know, definitely a fan of that show, but I guess it's the Davy Smith libertarian bro sphere of influence that were his like ball washers, and then rose to prominence within both media and the Mises caucus. It's like you're all just doing variations of your take on Scott Horton's books for which, hey, look, if you're gonna have like inch below the surface level, geopolitical, foreign policy, domestic policy kind of worldview, it's not the worst one to espouse. Right. I'll grant, there is a scale. I understand.
That's what I mean. So right there. And I don't disagree with you. We should question that, right? But I guess it's, the point would be, couldn't you still argue that all of what you just said, and he might be doing it with good intention, even if you think it's misguided? The point is like that I consider. That's all. And that I don't know that. And so I just, I chalk he could be acting with what he thinks is right. And, but I will say I think Dave Smith makes excellent points, often. But I really do. I think, but
I agree. I also think Scott Horton makes excellent points.
Yeah, exactly my point. Right. So it ends up coming down to whether, and this is getting deeper than it needs to be. My point was just
right now. It really is
because it's we all have the thing that stands out to us, and there's something about it. It's like I just think it's funny because we could sit here and go after people that literally everybody would be like, man, like I mean seriously, if you go down like the Twitter feed of Benny Johnson, like you go like, who actually fucking engages with this stuff? It's like there are people, but it's like, so there's a huge difference between that and like, for example, when he had his debate with Laura Loomer, you're hard pressed to find one thing. Well, I shouldn't say that. There was at least two things I remember that I'm like, fuck, but it's just opinion things that he just fucking nailed that. And I think he went down with plenty of good points. And I would have made a different point here and there, but it's like, to me, that's like almost a net positive, even if it's meant for more, that's all I'm getting at. But go ahead. Sorry.
I came out that day I like put out a tweet like, congratulations to Dave Smith for dog walking this fucking weirdo, and said the exact same thing on the show the next day. It's funny that you're making the exact argument that Dave's about to make, like he wasn't instrumental in the way that the Libertarian Party wound up selling out everybody for Donald Trump and Ross Ulbricht.
And I will say too, and I'm sure you agree with this, that as any movement like that shouldn't be used, and it sometimes is in this community, to then like say this is what libertarians are. It's the same thing that happens in two-party illusion, right?
Oh yeah, no, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's like the parties are always fucking co-opted, but there are plenty of real libertarians. The people that supported that party well beyond it being obvious are the ones you should definitely call out. And maybe him for all I know. I don't know.
I mean, they did carefully calculate, orchestrate, and partially implement the Davy Smith for Libertarian candidate for president campaign.
Mm-hmm.
where
same point. Derek ran for mayor of, say just to be, it's like people, but we should question all of this stuff. Absolutely. And I feel like even that, I talked about that. It's like, the question comes for any of these things. It's like going on a show out there that you feel like isn't have good intentions. It's like, is it valuable enough to do that, to get the reach and get your word out there? Or are you helping them? It's like, I have a hard time with that. It's like, I honestly don't know half the time if somebody I didn't like reached out, was like, I know there are a few that I've mentioned, like, there's certain people I'll just fuck no, there's no way. But some of them you go, well, I don't think they're honest, but there's thousands of people that might get your message and that may help you. But I think my usual stance is I just don't want to lend whatever credence we have to those people. You know what I mean? That's usually how this goes. And it's kind of the same point you're making there, is that, why would you lean into that party, even if you think you're doing it for a good reason, if the party itself is corrupted? It's like, it's a dangerous choice. And it's like, you could think you're doing the right thing. I look at it like fighting through the system to change the system. I don't think the fucking system is salvageable at this point.
No, and that's fair. That is. And it's funny that you say that, because my friend Kriston is guest hosting for Harrison Smith today. And he called me last night and was like, hey, will you do the second hour? So because he's guest hosting, I'm doing the second hour.
Who is it again?
Harrison Smith, who does the War Room on Alex Jones's network. And
who's the guy?
Kriston T. Harris, who does the Rundown Live.
I don't know. He's not familiar.
Yeah, I've talked about him a couple of times. I'll have to send you some of his shit. You'll probably recognize him.
I probably will. It just doesn't jump out at me.
Yeah, he filmed the Rittenhouse affair.
Well, make sure you go on there that you're just constantly screaming about all the things that.
Oh yeah, I'm specifically going on to talk about the Flock stuff.
Yeah, make sure you mention how band.video censored TLAV when they used my content and then got called out for it and censored me on the unbanned platform, which is still an easily provable thing. But it's funny how much that just goes. Like, I brought that up so many, like a year ago or months, and it's just funny as someone's like, really? Like, no, it's just funny. It's like, why would you even doubt that? Like, you could watch these people across the field, it's like just hypocrites, man. It's like, it's an obvious thing. Like that, look at, like we always point out, the 7 or 8 people that are in their own right, large names in this field, who all say the same thing about InfoWars after they've left. It's like, how does anybody not understand that by now? That's ridiculous.
Oh, I get it, man. I get it. I do. And it's not like any of us are ever going to do the main show. It's just funny because I love Kriston. It's fucking dude. This is me and you talking.
It's the same point, though. I'm not going to judge anybody. You think it's going to give you reach? Go for it. It's all. That's how most things I think should be looked at today. That everybody has their own calculus for how these things make sense. It's like I was just talking about, like, good example yesterday. Well, you want to play the clip first? I'm going to go off on a tangent.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
At least my camp isn't doing this shit, man. I'm not saying we're perfect, but if there's one thing you can count on the good libertarians to do, is to never be more concerned with being respected by war criminals than sticking to the principles of liberty. But
that's a good point. Well, that's my point. It's like, whether it's a token thing is used, I still agree. The idea is the principle matters.
Right. So where were the good libertarians who weren't out there ball washing Trump for 5 years?
Oh, that's not the point, though. Yeah. I'm not taking his side or arguing he's even doing.
No, I'm just saying, like, in general, show me those good.
I'm sure he would have his example if you asked him. I don't know.
Well, unfortunately, it's like vermin supreme. And the libertarians that those guys just hate. Maybe Michael Rechtenwald, the guy that you screwed over for your presidential nomination the last time around. Maybe him. He wouldn't have
people that aren't like, names in the community, just the people out there that are supporting that stance. I don't know, but either way, the point is the principle is what I agree with. It's like, I don't care whether you're saying it dishonestly or not. What you're pointing out is something we see every day. There are people out there who are more concerned with, a certain stance than whether or not that stance is consistent with their principles, and right now it's like I don't know which one he's referencing there, whether it's Lindsey Graham and people's war criminals coming out to think he's a great person, people calling him out, whatever it is, that you have people out there that are, it's about where they place in the whole scheme of things. And it's left and right, guys. These people have nothing sacred. Every single day you can see them challenging what they claim is the most sacred principle of the land. It's sad. But the question is, in your mind, whoever you are out there watching his work or ours, is he being consistent with his principles? And if he is, then good.
Yeah. Upgrade Teese's equipment so he can occasionally look up the clips that he's talking about.
I could, no, that's true, dude. No, like if I right. If we were both doing it at the same time, that'd be an interesting war of clips. Yeah.
Well, it's just what you're looking for, and like you said, there's a million versions, of some of it.
Right. But you'd be like, okay, here's an upbeat version. And be like, no, I'm going to buzzkill that. And then it'd be like fighting for whether we could have a joke or a buzzkill win the day. Yeah.
Well, it was, like, wow. People are either referees or UFC fighters are getting pieced up. It's just, it seemed. I don't know, a little weird. But lots of other things are also silly.
Okay, so moving away from the important stuff that is women's sports, what else is happening in the world?
That was, hey, you asked for an example of a PG joke on the spot. And
which I'll never do again. Never. That's not happening again. Yeah, we saw how that one worked out. Yeah.
I would bet.
We went there. So let's do other jokes.
I would say that at least once in the history of the Ku Klux Klan, a Klan member has showed up late to a cross burning with food on his robe from an ethnicity he's not even supposed to want around anymore. And that's a pretty big faux pas, probably. I'm guessing, they're already starting the ceremony. He's like, oh shit. He's trying to sneak around in the back, trying to crawl through the bramble to just blend in, but he snaps too many twigs. And then the main guy who's conducting everything hears him right in the middle of the main, like, and we light this cross as a testimony to the everlasting power of the white. Damn! Is that Oh, I'm just moving it around. It's freedom sauce. It's guacamole. God damn it. Goes with everything. The real question here is, who sold him the Mexican food while he was dressed like that? Who really compromised their values the most in this entirely made-up story that I'm presenting to you right now? Is it the Klan member or the one hopeful Mexican immigrant who opened up the only taqueria in northern Mississippi? This is going to be great. There's no competition. Oh. Shit. Now he's got to take any business coming in because he's got to keep a roof over his family's head, That's a tenuous relationship going on right there. Like, all right, Dale, listen, here, but you got to stop coming in here dressed like that. Use the drive-thru. That's why we put it in. $7.85. What do you mean it's free? No, you're not going to intimidate me, all right? We have a fragile relationship as it is, but you are not going to make me fearful because of your hateful ways, and I'm going to stand up to, what, you finished the punch card? Let me see that thing. Oh, look at who got the golden sombrero. Congratulations, you're loyal. I don't know to what, but you're loyal.
Honestly, that's better than any 5-star Yelp review for any Mexican restaurant. It's just one photo. Just one picture of a fully outfitted Klan member reluctantly holding up a plate of enchiladas. Just like... They're so good! I'm so confused right now. I don't know what to say. Like, you can start by saying mucho delicioso, motherfucker. Goes against everything I believe in. I can't say that. If you don't say it, we're going to tear up the punch card. Ah, mucho delicioso. Muy bueno, mi estómago es grande ahora. You know a lot of Spanish for a Klan member. See.
So
that would be the best possible advertisement. Little 15-second commercial. Various different, outright racist. Like, I don't know, man. It's really good here.
It'd be a funny marketing campaign, but if it was actually real, it'd be kind of like weird.
It would be kind of weird if it was real, but you could do that as a commercial pretty easily, and it would be hilarious.
Yeah, no, that'd be a hilarious commercial. Like, I was racist until I tried, like, I don't know, some kind of play on words here. It's like pink taco on Pussy Street, something like that.
There was a restaurant in Boulder Creek, California, briefly, owned by 2 lesbians, called the Pink Taco.
Yeah. Can't imagine why that went under.
Right. Right. Yeah. Short-lived. Everybody was way happier to get a taqueria in there. Like an actual taqueria. Real Mexicans and frequently on drugs.
So how's that going with like the whole ICE thing?
Well, turns out they're a terrorist organization. So not great.
Because it's interesting that like it's basically the human wing of the flock thing, and they're kind of just like herding our attention from one thing to another to make it mainstream. And James Lee put out like a brief little kind of like snippet focusing on the pivot from flock to axon.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, saw that. Yeah,
and that's almost like you were talking about that a while ago.
Well, he did have. He also had a conversation with Derek Bros recently, where Bros like kind of held his hand and really talked him through it. And it was, I mean, as far as that goes, good job, Derek. Way to be. But yeah, I think that James Lee sees a lot of the independent media alliance content and then uses that as a bit, and he'll go look at the source material that any number of people in the IMA were looking at, and then he'll pull that up as the background source material. But it'll basically be just a Carlos Mencia, Robin Williams remixed version, a Kanye, if you will.
Well, it is a really interesting environment that we're in because each of us plays our own role in a very different way, doing different things with different skill sets. And so some of us who are better in an investigative research capacity in order to scrounge for those things and understand a fringe reality don't necessarily translate to the voice that people would want to hear on the receiving end. And so it kind of just like stages of dissemination to get it to the public in a way that they can understand. Which slows it down and kills a lot of people, but I guess that's the only fucking way to get there. It's like, hey, we could just fucking tell you the truth, but no, you need to go through this weird warped through this person to that person, and eventually it'll show up on Jimmy Dore's door, and that's the only one people will allow and themselves to adore. And hey, wouldn't you know it? That's not really going to get you there. But hey, here we are.
I did 30 minutes on Jimmy Dore show this week.
How was that?
Well, Garland was guest hosting.
Okay, so Jimmy Dore wasn't there. It was just Garland.
Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't do it on Jimmy Dore's show. You did it on Garland's
I did.
show.
It was the Jimmy Dore show.
It's like a person I can talk to. On another show where I wouldn't be able to say the same shit. It's not the same fucking thing.
If you look at Garland's channels, it's not there. If you look at Jimmy Dore's channel, the segment's there.
Why isn't it on Garland's thing?
Because he was guest hosting the Jimmy Dore show. Jimmy's on vacation. He's one of the rotating fill-in hosts.
Okay. I don't understand how, like, I don't understand what a vacation is. 2, I don't understand what it is to have like rotating hosts and like a budget and stuff. So whatever the fuck all of that is, good for them. Yay. Like, how did you do? What did you talk about on the Jimmy Dore show for 30 minutes?
The flock stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. Well, okay, so every live show that him and a bunch of other people do, after it's over, it goes behind a paywall. And then like a day later, on the Rumble at least, segment clips come out. And I guess they do like the first half of the show on YouTube and Rumble. And then the second half of the show they only do on Rumble. But yeah, anyway, the clip's out.
Well, that's good. Anyway, I'm glad you got to go and represent not the mid bracket of media spokesman that is sadly the conversational forum on that program. You're more advanced than mid-brack, and so you're upping the game of the people who tune into that stuff.
Well, gosh, geez, thank you.
You know, I think you're amazing. I just don't talk about it very much because then you get all like highfalutin and then be like, I am the Steve. I am the king of all jokes. And it's like, no. Get back here. We're all going to be equal.
That has never happened.
Oh, yeah, whatever. Okay.
It has never happened. That's crazy talk. Let's see. Where did that go? Oh, okay. AI or body double glitch?
For like Tate stuff?
No. Well, I mean, sure, but the double Trump.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
Behind Trump. Can we see that again?
Hang on. Rook.
What's up with the guy behind Trump? Can we see that again? Can you bring that out?
What's up with you, Lieberwitz?
Who the is this? Is this what? Who in the world is it? Oh my God! Is that a backup Trump? Is that? Wait a minute! Wait! Hold on a second! Wait! What? Wait! Who? What? Is that a backup Trump or is that Trump? Wait, is the one we've been dealing with backup Trump?
So, body double or AI?
I really don't know at this point. Like and that's kind of like an interesting overlap with some of the Tate or the Tate arrest videos with like the headless guy behind him and then the arrest footage. It's like I don't even know if so. Here's what trolls could start doing. Anytime that an official like video of something happens, they could just have an AI version of that same video created with some sort of anomaly in it, and then it would conflate the two and turn people online against one another. So refining the source of an initial post versus subsequent reposts will actually become relevant for that reason.
Yeah. Let's see. Is it here? You asked about ICE. I'm looking for trying to figure out which. Oh, here we go.
Like the one where they detained a guy and he called 911 from the car and he's like, I'm an American citizen and these guys are abducting me, and they're like laughing at him and it's like, I can't help you, sir. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's great. Yeah. The police are not there to help you people.
Nope. This is out of the Free Thought Project. Don Villa Jr. I'm pretty sure I hung out with a couple of times back in the day on the Rundown Live, with the first couple of times I did Kriston's show. But yeah, the title of it, and do go to thefreethoughtproject.com, support those guys, is ICE from a rogue agency to a murderous terrorist organization, which is, I mean, a fairly accurate description.
I'd say it was always a terrorist organization, but
yeah. Free Thought Project has been tracking the progression of abuses committed by agents of ICE since January of 2025. Let's see, amid the agency's weaponization by the Trump administration. They had part one of a series documented how Trump's immigration crackdown served to empower the police state, using immigration enforcement as a false pretext, advancing a campaign to target and intimidate ethnic communities, erode domestic civil liberties, constitutional protections, and erect a biometric surveillance panopticon under the guise of border security, which is started happening way before 2025.
Hold on. Did you cover the alleged crackdown on the police entwinement with border security running for the cartel?
No.
They like cracked it's one of those. There was like an entire police department that was doing the drug running for the cartels, and then there was a story on that from a local news station. I didn't look into it very much, so I don't know the fine details.
Okay. Any idea where I could find that, since you brought it up?
It was one of those things where I just saw it in passing really quickly, so I don't necessarily have the keywords I would need. But if you gave that full sentence into the search engine, they might shit something out that's actually decent. But I mean, just like once, I wouldn't be qualified to go into the full depths of it. But yeah, there's an intimate overlap between law enforcement and the criminal enterprises that run these things, and they are not opposite one another. They complement each other.
Let's jump back into this for a moment.
Sure. Yeah. Sorry.
See if I can find that later. Let's see. More recent reporting from the Free Thought, right? They just in the article they just highlight some of the random acts of terror and midday in the middle of the street executions that ICE has done. Also, I mean, and I don't know if they talk about it in the article yet or not, but you can't talk about this without talking about Kristi Noem, right? Who had to step down from Department of Homeland Security, which is the agency that ICE falls under. And she had to step down for, gross incompetence, getting caught in lie after lie in the middle of being questioned by both the media and Congress. And also having an affair with her underling, Corey Lewandowski, on company time, and having the United States taxpayers fund her extramarital liaisons. So she got in a little bit, thrown under the bus. And then on top of that, there was Greg Bavino, the wee fella, the final boss of Subaru owners. It looks like Megan Rapinoe, the lesbian soccer player, the women's World Cup soccer player.
I don't
danger hair.
I'm not good with names, and I don't follow Congress critters or their various different sexual escapades, or the prostitute intern lobbyists that they hire to cater to their particular.
Oh, he was the guy who was the field commander of ICE.
They're all prostitute lobbyists, whatever their official appointment in government it claims to be. Have you covered Tulsi Gabbard's brother yet?
You know what? I haven't, because it's like, it seems to me like one of those things where it could be okay, maybe he is mentally ill and he was approaching a bunch of kids, you know, or maybe that's what they said, and there was a bunch of shit that was planted on his devices in order to get her to step down. I don't know.
That's a really interesting idea, actually, that anytime that someone's family member, like, I don't know, Nicki Minaj's relatives, like, end up doing something like that, it can become a control mechanism for the person in a position of prominence. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So they could have just made sure that her career advanced the way that it did, in case they needed to pull the plug on anything that she might have, like, you know, initially been told she could release at OD and I. Were she curious? And they were like, oh yeah, sure, you can release XYZ files. Now Trump apparently just signed another executive order to release the JFK, RFK, and MLK files again for like the third or fourth time or something like that. So I'm sure we'll get another photo op with Jack Posobiec and a Benny Johnson, a bunch of other influencer douchebags and whoas, and they'll be holding up binders that have official seals on them, and they'll be like, running it back.
You're re-traumatizing me with the description. And yes, people are going to do it again, and they're going to believe it, and they're going to buy into it, and it's a nightmare, and they're all going to retweet the same thing, and it's going to be the catalyst for the conversation that the public has. Yeah, I know, it sucks, but like, it's a return to the point you just made. I think it's really great. That would also mean that every single person that's close to a person who might eventually be in a position of prominence is a liability that will be used later to tear them down.
100%.
And so that's a really interesting insight for the people who ultimately aren't allowed to penetrate the mainstream conversation, or whatever lewd insight you want to use to impregnate the future. The people that you're near and dear to, so they could just have you become friends with a total piece of shit. And then that would be the thing that would allow your career to progress. And then later it would be revealed and they could just rip you back down. So yeah, it's a really interesting thing. The integrity for ourselves and also the people that we associate with, it's really fucking important.
And yeah, I mean, you've seen it play out over and over and over, right? Not that Bill Clinton wasn't already fully on board, but by the time they integrated the MENA operation, the person that they used as immediate leverage was Roger, right? They threw him in prison. His brother.
I'm not familiar with that one, actually.
Roger Clinton was even more outlandish in his behavior than Bill. Bill at least made sure he went to the island somewhere out of the way. Roger just done it right there in Little Rock.
Part of that can also be the sacrificial side of it, which seems to be a requirement to a certain degree, either of like something close to you has to be compromised in a high level as a introductory metric of what you're willing to sacrifice for the cause.
Right. And Joe Biden immediately was like, take my wife, please.
Yeah, well, who knows if that was a sacrifice or like, no, get rid of this thing. I don't know.
Ask Shane Gillis's great uncle or something like that. Or okay, so this is what it wasn't anyone related to Shane, but the driver of the truck that took out Biden's first wife and a daughter or whatever, another kid or two, was driving either to or from the Gillis family mushroom farm in like Connecticut or somewhere up over that way. And they were, yeah.
So this is why Shane Gillis is so funny. He grew up tripping on mushrooms since he was a fucking kid, and now
different kind of mushrooms.
So commercial. You'd have to talk to the mushroom farmers in order to understand the secret stash that they don't let the man tell them. Yeah.
I mean, hey, look, I'm open to believing that. I am. But